Welcome everybody to Talk That Talk, where we have unfiltered, uncensored, uncomfortable conversation.
All right. Welcome everybody to Talk That Talk, where we have the unfiltered, unscripted, uncomfortable conversations about band, HBCU, band culture, music education, and more. Let me go ahead and introduce the panel. To my right, we got Quan. He looks upset for some reason, and we got Maya squeezing the cheeks. All right, man. How y'all doing? How's everybody doing today? Everybody good? Quan tired. Maya probably tired because you're looking at. I can actually see 14 screens in your glasses. I said, well, don't take the glasses off now. Dang. So both of y'all tired. So we're just gonna have a tired conversation tonight. That's all good.
I'm not tired. I think I'm just. I don't know. So I'm just getting back. So I came back to a whole lot, and I'm just really trying to get through it. So maybe I am. I'm overwhelmed a little bit, honestly.
Oh, vacation.
Vacation, yes.
Yeah. So basically, what you're saying is, vacation ain't really vacation.
Put your head down. You got it. Let me see what's on the top of your head. I know that's right.
Hair? Why you acting like this is the first time
I know, but did you get it like redone or something? It looks good.
Yeah. He got them, girl, you should let me love you.
Oh, Lord, here we go. Oh, Lord.
Very much.
I want to know your name, girl. I want to.
Man, I thought this was going to be a regular situation, but I guess it's brand new for everybody.
No, but it looks good. Or it looks like, did you get an edge up, line up?
Oh, you
whatever.
cute.
So basically what you're saying is the last time I had this, I didn't have an edge up.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying maybe it's because I haven't seen you in 2 weeks. It looks nice. I'm trying to give you
nice.
I appreciate it. No, it wasn't even that. It was just kind of how you said it. It was kind of like, oh my gosh, you just got your head in. Oh, it was trash before, but
no, because I thought when I looked up there, I thought I saw waves. So like, from the angle, so I was like, wait.
No, my wave days are good and gone. That was high school. In the early stages of college. That was back in the day when before they started doing the little what they call them now, the little do-rag. Yeah, before I was doing that back in high school. You know what I'm saying? And
question: did you have the do-rag with the sweatband?
No, I ain't do that.
Oh man, you ain't that Soldier Boy.
But what I did do is back in the day, I used to wear the stocking cap daddy and the do-rag daddy over that.
Was it at least black? Was it stocking cap?
Yeah, it was all black. It was all black. Yeah.
Or did you do time somewhere?
No. But I wanted my wave swimming back then. So I would do that. I would sleep in that. And then I wake up in the morning, and right before I go into the schoolhouse, I pull it all off. And I mean, obviously you had a line on your head, daddy, but I didn't care. And then I walk around the school all day with my brush. I mean, that's how I was back then. But I guess, but yeah, the waves is over. But yeah, this I did get right. I appreciate you, Maya, for
bro, you look fly, bro.
Appreciate it.
I wish.
Rolling through the hood, just found out.
Now you just need the burgundy. You need the burgundy with it.
Yes, sir.
Hey, whenever you take one out, that's when you got your Ja Rule. What's that Ja Rule song? Said we cry.
You just gonna find every song to just go ahead and copy
Hey, bro,
everything.
that was the 2000s though. Don't act like you didn't walk around and undid one braid. And you
I didn't have braids in the 2000s. I had braids in the 90s though. This isn't my first time having these joints. I had them in the 90s. I would pull out my old picture, but I ain't trying to embarrass myself that bad. But I did have it in the 90s though. I took my fifth grade picture. It's definitely me with the cornrow that is in. That was before Iverson. So, hey.
Iverson was everybody's favorite player.
Hey, but when I was doing it, it was trash. So, I didn't get laughed at, but it was trash at that time. So, oh well. So here we go. We got to start it off right. I know Justin's in here, and Justin, I need you to stay in here for a second. Well, I mean, you stay in here the whole time anyway, but I really need you to listen to this because we're gonna have to get into it at some point. But let me go ahead and ask the question, man. Band things, any band things, music, whatever that happened to you guys this past week. Quan just muted his mic because somebody knocking on his door. So Maya, you go first. What you got?
I mean, nothing musically happened to me. But I mean, so I've been trying to get on track. Okay, I've been I watched a couple of these clips, the Grambling PV clips. I haven't quite come to a consensus yet, but a lot of people are saying that Grambling took it. I don't really know what's the truth. I don't know if we're gonna talk about that today, but yeah. And then I saw some motion clips. Still. Never thought. Look at us. I never thought we'd be here.
I agree.
But they're doing it. Like, I can't be mad. They're for shit show doing it. But yeah.
I can't lie. Because like I always say, like I know what good dancing is supposed to look like.
Sure.
Period, point blank. But what?
I just thought about something. Go ahead. No, continue.
But I know that when I see them, I see a massive amount of improvement. And I'm just like, this looks really good. Now, before you go on to whatever just aha moment you had, I will also say the dolls.
Yeah.
The dolls. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah. And so like we've said it before. Okay, yeah, you can get your slack hours or what have you, right? You can cross your section, cross your band or what have you, but it's not until you kind of hit that second, almost third leg, like that third rip, that you really, really like truly in your stride, you truly comfortable, like you truly like that, like whoever. I wasn't really, dog captain Ariel. I'm not sure exactly how they pronounce it or how she pronounces, excuse me. But last year I was like, okay, but this year I'm messing with it for sure because she's very comfortable and it's like I don't think she has anything to prove per se, but you can tell like she's comfortable and she's hit her truest stride in terms of being a captain. So I can definitely appreciate the growth and they look like a unit as well. They for sure look like a unit.
But I mean, outside of that, I feel like she's adding a lot of stuff that you typically wouldn't see in the dolls. And I may be wrong. Like I said, I'm not well versed in that lane, but from what I can see, that's what it kind of looks like to me. And every time I watch them, their field performance, I think that because they performed this past weekend, their field performance, I was just like, oh, wow. I was glued. I
haven't watched the one from this past week, but I will say over the past few years, it has become more and more dynamic, and they're definitely bringing in true elements of different types of dance that are very easy, not necessarily easy to spot out, but you can definitely see the influence across just the typical doll style or major style or HBC style, which I can definitely appreciate. But I for sure feel you. It's just I haven't watched. That's why I said, let me hold off on that. I'm going to watch and then we can come back. But yeah.
What was your aha moment?
Oh, I can't share that. It's a little too controversial.
Hello?
No, I can't. Okay, let me think. Let me think about it.
Okay.
It's about the home team. It's about the home team and comments about the home team.
Pause on that. Okay. All right, Quan, what you got?
I put it in the group chat, and it was.
Bet. Okay.
Can you hear me, bro?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right, cool. No, because my ear said that, and I was like, dang. No, but
Is that the Walmart daddy? Or is that the real one?
Nah, that's the real ones.
Okay.
I just had it in my ear.
I gotta ask, because they said on Walmart daddies that look just like it. But go ahead.
Oh no, this is the real deal. So for me, I did see certain clips of the State Fair Classic, and I must say, like, for me, because it was the home team, I guess it had a different type of weight for me. And honestly, I was excited. I think it was a good back and forth battle. There were certain rounds that honestly that I was like, damn dog, Grambling pushing. And I had a conversation with my line brother today. This is the more aggressive Grambling that we've seen in years. But I mean, I like it. But there are certain rounds of that fifth quarter I was going back and forth with. But I didn't finish it in its entirety to conclude and say who won or who didn't. But I think it was an exciting battle. I just want to see how these schools, being honest, how they face against Southern. Are they going to change up? I'm excited to see about the Bayou Classic. I'm also excited to see how Grambling faces against Jackson State as well. So I'm excited to see. But I did like they played a song by Nico called King's Affirmation. I really like that joint. And I was kind of trying to do a comparison between Southern's version and then theirs. But I like both arrangements of it. But Grambling doing some good stuff over there. But the home team, they was pushing too.
So I'll say this. I do agree with you as far as the aggressiveness of Grambling. And with that being said, I'm gonna find it very interesting to see what happens at the Bayou.
Right.
I'm gonna be like super glued into that. What I will say, and this is what I was gonna kind of allude to anyway. And this is why I kind of brought up Justin, because first of all, Justin was there. I was supposed to be there, but then the joints didn't show up, so I just didn't go because I wasn't gonna go if my passer didn't show up. But I don't know anymore, man. And what I mean by that is it's really becoming frustrating for me when it comes to judging HBCU band programs, only because I don't feel like I'm getting what the truth is via camera versus if I'm there. And I hate to always do this, but I do know that if I watch a DCI performance via camera, quality of sound, clarity, all of that stuff, I'm going to get pretty basically what I'm going to get, if I'm there live, except for the fact that there may be a lot more volume. But when it comes to HBCUs, I find it difficult for me to be able to start judging fairly on the strength that I can't tell all the way via the video. And the reason why I say this is because I'm going to be honest with you. I watched like 3 to 4 different videos of the fifth. I know I watched Justin's. I watched somebody else, which I've never seen before. He kind of just not popping up. I can't remember who it was. I watched Ricky's, and I think Showtime was there. And I came up with the same conclusion on all of them. For me, I didn't really tell, and this is just from video, I didn't really tell a clear, definite winner. I just didn't. I didn't. And here's the reason why. And I'm just gonna try to do my best to be as honest as possible. And this is only in the fifth. I'm not talking about 0 and all that kind of stuff, or whatever the 0 was. But in the fifth, there were moments where Prairie View for me was like, okay, all right, cool. But then there were moments where I felt like PV could have done a lot better. So here's a common example. the first song that PV played for me, there were a lot of release problems. Like decent starts, but there were bad releases in some areas. And for me, I was just kind of like, I guess because I know the students and I know the staff and all that kind of stuff. When I hear that, I'm just kind of like, bro, like I know student wise, I'm not pushing that on the staff. I'm like, y'all know not to do that, right? And then there were some songs that Grambling just sounded good on. I'm not even gonna lie. And this is just from the video. So I think that for me, the ones where there may have been those mishaps in PV and the areas where Grambling was, for me, they both canceled each out and they kind of made it an even draw. That's just kind of where I come from. So I'm not saying that one was like dominant over the other. And so that's kind of where, you know, my position is on that. So, and I guess for me, that's weird to say because I don't ever, at least the times when we were there, and even within the last couple of years after we've gone, I don't remember a time when I've ever felt that way. It's always been, to me, PV was the clear winner. For this one, it's just kind of like, I don't know. Like for me, it's dead even. And so that's just my personal opinion. So,
but that goes to what we were saying earlier. Like there have been some improvements in some great bands. Like it just has. Like Grambling really has improved since their introduction from the Battle of the Bands. They've gotten better and better over the years. I still don't understand. Like I still don't understand why the baton twirler is still to the side. But can I say this? They had great energy on the field. PV energy was there on the field. Like that's why I say like it was a really good showing amongst both bands, and kind of like we saw Doc kind of like talking smack to Dr. Roebuck, but they really like brought it to one another. And like I say, of course, the Boombox Classic has not taken place, but that was like a really, in my opinion, that was the most exciting State Fair Classic that I've seen even before I marched. Like it was really exciting, and you could tell Grambling is getting better. But anybody that says PV didn't have energy, that's a lie. They had it. That field show was live from Prairie View. That drum major interest was different. Like they had some moments where it was like, damn, like this is fire. I did appreciate they brought the drum feature back. I have, my differences on that. However, like Black Foxes, did the Black Foxes Black Foxed? Now Maya may have they Black Fox, but I honestly, can I say this? I just feel like overall there's some improvement of HBCU band pageantry that, I know over the last few episodes, we was like, well, when the field show is going to come back? Some of them is actually, they're improving. I must say that. Now, we was laughing about the young man that was in Grambling that was marching different from everybody else, because somebody had made a comment, was like,
big old large steps.
Yeah. Somebody said that's not 22 and a half inch steps, but we love his energy, but like it's been some great improvements in my opinion. I saw the end of the little tuba battle with Grambling and 14K. Like, I mean, it's just certain aspects that I think Grambling, like I say, Grambling was my sleeper band. And even when I told you about it, you was like, what? And he was like, nah.
I still feel the same way. I haven't changed that.
No, I feel you. But we must agree on this, or we may agree on this, that they've gotten better, honestly. And this is one of the best Gramblers that I've seen since, I would say, about 07 Grambling. I really did like that one.
And I'll say this too. That's why I kept it strictly on the 5th, because field show stuff, I thought PV's field show, I liked it. I liked the sound. I think they did a great job. Yeah. It was clean. I liked the energy that they had in it, coming from ET into, I guess, the little hype section, going up to the stage and into their formation. Like I appreciated all of that. You know what I'm saying? I didn't get a full video, and I know I haven't watched it yet, but I didn't get I got the ground level. I think Justin had the ground level. So I got that. And for some reason on that ground level, I was waiting for that kid to walk off the field again. I thought it was going to happen, but I guess it didn't. But from what I could tell from that energy from the ground level, hey, I thought it was good. I mean, and I'm gonna be honest, I've never working when I was in Beaumont, I worked with someone who was a Grambling alum, world fame alum, and he was part of the dance routine committee. He would get the kids' dance routines together and all that. So I was able to see the type of energy and focus that they put in on the dance routine from a Grambling perspective. So I really don't expect for Grambling to have like bad dance routines. I just really don't, because I've seen what they do. And even that, I guess it was a zero quarter. I guess. I thought PV sounded great during the zero quarter.
PV sounded great, period.
I'm not saying that they sounded trash, period. I'm just saying the things that I felt like were happening in the fifth weren't happening in the zero, is what I'm saying. And to be quite honest, for me, if you count the zero quarter and the field shows and even the tuba battle, if you compare all of that to the fifth, I kind of felt like the fifth was a little lackluster. That's just, and I'm not saying that on PV or Grambling side. I'm saying cohesively, I got more energy from the field show and the zero quarter and the tuba battle than I did from the fifth. Now, that's just my personal opinion. So, what you said they don't have a zero, but it was something somebody posted.
They kind of had like a neck battle.
It was some kind of battle that was going on, and PV was playing a lot more songs or something like that. Somebody posted it. I don't know, but I'm just saying it was something that was happening with a song exchange. Well, song exchanges. And because me and Rick were talking about it just yesterday. Or today. It was one of them days. So I think that overall, if we look at the totality of the thing, I would give the slight edge to, oh, that was first quarter. Okay. If we look at the totality of the thing, me personally, I would give the edge slightly to PV. But if we just going off the fifth, there is no clear winner to me in the fifth. Now, as far as the tuba battle is concerned, I don't know. I really don't know. I'm not even gonna go there. But I just thought I liked the energy in it. I did. I thought it was, if I would have been there during that time, that probably wouldn't have been me talking about get to the bus, unless Doc made us say get to the bus. I would have been sneaking off somewhere behind one of the tuba players, like, man, crank that shit. All right, so that would have been me. So yeah. So that's where I'm at with that. Any final thoughts on anything that happened this past weekend? Because I know there were some other band things that did happen this weekend, but I don't think there was one that was specifically bigger than State Fair Classic this weekend. So any other band things that happened this weekend? Did I miss?
Not that I know of, but I did look at Tennessee State. Awesome. Like they sound really good. And then I went to see this. I forgot who Kentucky State played against last week. I went back and saw that battle. I thought that was really good too. Kentucky State really sound good, bro. I think they played a I'm Sprung or a T-Pain song. That whole jamming, like real talk. Like it's a lot of good band stuff that's going on, man. But I really wish Tennessee State is able to get out there more. Honestly, like they are really
absolutely
sleeping.
agree. Absolutely,
they really asleep.
And no, I do agree with you, brother Reynolds. Because I understand the Dallas tour, man, and how it works and how it goes down. Those kids were playing since Thursday. And playing since Thursday is not like doing one performance and then you're done. Like performance break, well, performance ride, performance eat, performance ride, performance eat. You know what I'm saying? So no, I do get that, and I always will put that into consideration. And so yeah, I don't disagree with you at all. All right, man. Let's keep this thing. Well, let's actually move and get into the real meat in the topic today. This is going to be a deep one, a controversial one. It was very interesting to actually start diving into this a little bit, having some conversations. And also, well, let me start off the right way, and then we'll, get get into it. So here we go. Welcome everybody to Talk That Talk. We have the unfiltered, unscripted, uncomfortable conversations about band, HBCU band culture, music education, and more. Man, y'all go ahead and smash that like daddy since you're already in the room. As soon as you come in, just smash that like daddy. All right, don't even wait on it. Also, please make sure you subscribe to the Passion Is Network and turn on notifications. This episode will be on all your podcasting networks. Just type in Real Talk That Talk. No, excuse me. Type in Talk That Talk, except for on Apple Podcast where you type in Real Talk That Talk. Y'all be messing that up sometimes. And no, I'm not reading that. That's coming off the dome. All right. So here we go. So yeah, after having a few conversations, and I have someone that I affectionately call my daughter. I've known her since she was about 17, and she has a podcast called the Good Up Podcast. Y'all go check that podcast out. Super dope podcast. But her podcast recently was talking about grooming and predators, and as it relates to adults and young folk. And it got me to really thinking about some stories that I had heard, some situations that I may have or have been around. And so I felt the need that we need to talk about it because these things do happen. And they happen a lot more frequently than we actually believe. So let's go ahead and get into this thing. We talking about some of them, terrible things that happen inside the band room. So let me ask this first question, and I'm gonna actually shoot this first one to Maya first, and I'm gonna tell you why afterwards. So here we go. Do power dynamics make people more attractive? Do power dynamics make people more attractive?
What do you mean by that? Like, so I could collect my thoughts as you speak. What do you mean by power dynamics?
So basically, if let's say you were just a peon that came into the band one day, you know what I'm saying? And then all of a sudden you the drum major in year 2 or 3. Now there's been a power shift. There's that power dynamic between you and, whatever, the rest of your class or whatever. There's a power shift. Does that make people more attractive? Does that make more sense? Did I kind of clarify it a little bit?
You did, but now you just messed my initial train of thought up.
No, go with your train of thought, and then we can circle back around.
So okay,
but go ahead.
No, I guess so. And you mean attractive physically or attractive like you want access to them, or both? Okay, cool. Right, keep going.
So are we okay to go off of that? Are we talking about peers? Or are we talking about like my crab brothers and sisters? When I made captain, would that make them feel does that change my attractiveness in terms of my power?
We talking about all of it. We talking about peers. We're talking about staff members. We're talking about all of it.
Age-old, yes and no. I think yes. Anytime there's some type of power or what have you that is attractive in some shape, form, or fashion, and just because it's attractive doesn't necessarily mean it has to be attractive and physically in nature, right? So it can be attractive in terms of something that you aspire to be or something that you associate yourself with. But yes, because if that was the case, then somebody may have never wanted to be a leader, right? But because some particular person that was in leadership is why they're now a band director, or now they decided to change their industry or their craft of choice because someone who was in a particular power strain or hierarchy had some type of effect on them. But I mean, there's multiple ways that we can look at this. But for now, yes, I think so.
Okay, and we're gonna get into the multiple ways in a minute. I'm gonna tell you why I called on you first. Quan, do power dynamics make people more attractive?
Absolutely. And it does. And if we can use band, but we could use corporate, we could use real life, we could use the education sector, it does. Because here's the truth. At the end of the day, people look at position wherever you are in your hierarchy as being attractive because they want access to you. Like, You could be a member of a nonprofit organization, but because you sit on the e-board, people want access to you. And people, men and women, are willing to use whatever it takes to get access to you. I mean, let's be honest. And we may not talk about this, but let's keep it 1,000 in the words of Maya. There's certain band directors that get hit on by parents. You may not be the cutest band director, but because you have a position of power and it's a professional position, a parent may slide in your DM. We don't want to talk about it, but it's true. Or we talk about you said, I know we was talking about grooming, but there's some females that shoot their shots at the band director because maybe they feel like they can get more scholarship. Like, so, I mean, I'm gonna use it in this term. Bill Clinton was not the most attractive person in the world, but
You was peeping Bill Clinton?
No, I was not. But what I'm just saying is, Bill Clinton had one of the biggest scandals of the 20th century because of his position, because he was the president of the United States. Like, it's about position. It's about titles. People love titles. People love access to that entity merely because they be like, well, I'll find out because I'm cool with such and such. Like that's what people want, they want that access to feel like they're in the in crowd with that person. Let's be honest. All dancers are attractive, period, right? But it's a difference when you be like, I mean, to a degree. Like what I'm saying, dancers are attractive young ladies. But what I am saying is, it's something as a notch on your head as a young man at that time to be like, but I'm talking to the captain. There's a difference. If you ain't never had them type of conversations in the band hall, you a liar. Man, I'm gonna shoot my shot at the captain, man, because man, she fly, blah. That happens, bro. Even as people that may try to chop it up with the section leaders because of the position and title, and then they try to use that to their advantage because it's about access. And in my opinion, it's more so about position, title, and access more than just the physical aesthetics of the person, because that person could be assed out ugly, but because of that title and position, they look more attractive. That's all I'm saying. Somebody said in the chat, clout. So people do anything for clout. Oh, there you go.
So I'm trying to figure out why Maya's been making these faces, but I know she gonna. Anyway, the reason why I asked Maya first is because through our history in our culture, not just Black culture, not just band culture, it's always been seen to be that it happens more frequently in the female aspect than it does in the male. For instance, you watch an old TV show and that hot new professor or that hot new teacher comes in. They don't show the dudes really, swooning over the female teacher. In most cases, they will show the female swooning over the male teacher. And so it's always that question of, is it because they're in the position of power, or is it because the fact that they are actually quote unquote attractive? So that's why I asked Maya the question first. So I don't know, Maya, have you ever had that feeling of being or seeing someone in power who, because they were in power, gave them a little bit more, I guess you want to say, physical attractiveness or whatever?
Yes. Yes and no. So even if they were already okay, damn. Because now I'm sound I'm not in the sense of like, oh, I would never be attracted to them, but oh, they're a vice president or something or another. No, not in that case. I'm saying like, yes, there is an attractiveness, because to me it goes down a little bit further. But I mean, again, this is not Captain Save My. I'm not trying to save myself. Ain't gotta say no, oh, okay. But shit, I mean, for the sake of the conversation, right? Mike Jones said it best. Back then, they didn't want me. Shit, now they want me. So for shit show, yeah, there's definitely a thing. Like, let's be clear. Anybody who says it is not, whether you're male or female, same sex, whether it's a platonic relationship, whatever, yes, And yes, we've all done it. And yes, I've done it. Not in the band world. Let's be 1000% clear. I don't need no stories, no nothing.
Yeah, I because I know your past band director, so
Yeah,
I hope not.
no, not never, not no way, not no how, no.
But no, I find that very interesting, and let me tell you a quick story, and then we'll keep going further into this, and we gonna keep opening up this can as far as we can open it without getting shut down. But I just remember, and this isn't a director person. This isn't a director, but I just remember it was this guy who was just a regular dude who was like kind of like the weird dude. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna say he was lame, but he was just kind of the weird dude, you know. And then he made drum major.
Yeah.
And he couldn't stop the chicks. And I was like, that's the same dude though. Ain't nothing changed about him. It's the same dude. What is it? And I think Quan, you kind of already mentioned it, but what is it that gives people their boldness to now all of a sudden want to pursue, even if it doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to be in a position of status with that person, if that makes sense?
Can I go?
Yeah, you got it.
It goes back, but it goes back to this person could potentially give me access into areas maybe I wasn't privy to. Prime example, let's keep it a buck. At PV, Delta Psi runs the yard in regards of stepping. They haven't lost the step show. You know, I may be different now, but they haven't lost the step show when I got there since like 2001. Right? Is it still like that? I'm pretty sure it's still like that. I don't know. Somebody who a current PV student, let me know. All right.
I think it was one, but they lost to TBS. I think it was, if I'm not mistaken.
Hey, well, they've been killing it, right? So
right.
There's an aspect of attraction for that, right? Because like they were like great steppers on the yard. Because it was an exclusive group, and because most of those brothers that was inside, those gentlemen that was inside, they were section leaders. Another aspect of attraction. Then you tie that into access to, and when I was on the yard, phone parties. When you look at all of that, it's about position. Not saying that those dudes weren't attractive in their own right, whatever, but it was about access. Not saying that they didn't have game to talk to the females if they wanted on their own, but it was about access. The bottom line is when you are in a certain clubs, certain groups, I'm speaking as a male, there's certain access that you want, right? There's certain things that you deem, you know, even though we look back and it's childish, but if you transfer that to the real world, it's about access. What can this person potentially get me into that is going to benefit me in the long run? That's what that's about. That's why Real Talk, they looking at it from a drum major perspective. Drum majors have meetings with the band directors. And then guess what? When you flip over to those sexual aspects, I can get you to pillow talk and I can get you to give me this information that I want from that may be only privy to the drum majors and doc, or not doc, but I'm just saying like a doctor, whatever. So I just want to be clear because we're talking about that. I just want to, you know, my thing is at the end of the day, that's the truth. If you telling me you got 5 drum majors or 7 drum majors and all these girls trying to talk to him, what you think they talking about the most? Most of them gonna be venting to each other about, man, I don't like such and such. She be tripping. Oh man, really, man, yeah, I wish such and such. You know, they be glazing back there. Oh, for real. Certain accesses, certain privileges, certain things, Real Talk, that they know that they can get their hands onto and use that person to their advantage. That's what that be about. I've seen it with my own eyes.
Yeah, but I think there's also whether should I say whether conscious or subconscious, I think it's a portion of competitive nature too, right? So if I'm going to enter myself into a step show or whatever, I didn't come to lose. I didn't come to get 5th place. It may be 15 people in here, but I didn't come to get 5th place. Yeah, I still won something, but I didn't come to get 5th place. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, in terms of hierarchy and the bounds of hierarchy, if there is a possibility to reach for the top for some people, especially if you have nothing to aspire to yourself, or you have no access or gain or what have you for yourself, then I got to figure out how to get my ease of access some kind of way. If you think for a second, them band booster mamas are in there just truly because they love to pass out cookies and Powerade. No. At Townview, if you think that them band booster mamas was not the damn shit, was the staff meeting was from here to here full of women, it wasn't because they love their kids so damn much. That wasn't the case. They were trying to see how close to Big Dean you know what I'm saying? If we're gonna talk about it, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. I didn't realize. Sorry, y'all. We had a one-off. My bad.
Hey, but yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. I love the inside jokes, but
exactly.
no,
I said,
no,
shit, because I saw it too, and I was like,
but no, but I'm just saying, you're right though. Like, as a male band director, man, it happens. You dig? But here's the thing. I know maybe Crystal could speak about this. We don't know how many daddies, real talk, shot at her. And my thing is this: it don't even matter about no status, about your marital status. If you married, single, whatever, it's about access. Like, let's be real, man. Real talk. If I rock with the band director like this, maybe they'll drop my child band dudes. Hey, any means necessary. I'm just saying. So when you look at the aspect of authority, everybody wants to get close to him. Prime example. How many people really want to get close to the pastor? Oh, that's my pastor. He came visit me when I was sick in the hospital. Oh, I'm cool with the principal. Oh man, I kick it with him all the time. It's a clout thing because it's about access. How can those people benefit me? Man, that's really what that be about.
no, seriously. Like club promoters. You can be looking like the bottom of a shoe. You know what I'm saying? But you will have some people who will collect themselves, male or female, to club promoters or what have you, because shit, I'm trying to be in here in the damn parties. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to be standing on the couches for the free. Some people have that mindset because they can't attain it themselves. So what's the next best thing? I can't get it for myself. Or I choose not to. So I can potentially group myself with the next best person to be able to have my cake and eat it too. Unfortunately, that's what I'm saying. If we're gonna talk about it, then let's talk about it.
So, you about to say something?
I was just about to say one thing real quick. I mean, it's that'll transfer to the Greek life too. Man, how many people really was a nobody? All of a sudden they get them letters and it's, oh, you such and such.
80% of every organization that brings somebody in. 80%.
And it be that one person be like, man, I'm a such and such now, I'm a bruh now. And all of a sudden their visibility, or we would say female stock, will go from here to here because of letters. Man, we be attracted to that stuff, man. Just being honest, bro. So
let's really quickly. Here we go. We're gonna have to dive because we're about to dive. All right, let's dive in. Really dive in. So, power dynamics in the band room, and I really want to start here. I know people. Pretty sure Quan, you know some people. Maya, you probably heard of some people. On the high school level, when you're dealing with students and band directors, that's why I say, Maya, you probably heard some people, because you may not be that connected to a lot of people, band director wise, but there's the power dynamic there too. And so one of the things that I found interesting, and I can't remember how the conversation went, but me and my wife were having a conversation, and this conversation basically came up. And what I told her was, in a lot of situations, and unfortunately it could be in the inner cities, it could be, with students with broken homes, a lot of young ladies, when you have male band directors, attach themselves to those band directors. And a lot of it is because of the fact that they spend so much time with those directors, and they, in many cases, and I kind of heard this on Good Up podcast, and I didn't think about it until I heard it on the podcast. In a lot of those cases, a lot of those young ladies may be filling voids that may be empty. And so there is a power dynamic as well. And so when we see those things happening, or when we hear about those things happening, what makes you, or when you've heard of those things, what's the first thing that goes through your mind? Do you blame the young lady? Do you blame the director? Where's the thought process when you hear those things? Maya.
Damn. Okay, you said it's gonna get heavy. So let me be clear. I'm never in the field to victim blame, right? So let's be clear about that. So whoever the victim is, and especially if we're talking in the sense of grooming, the victim is that of whom is being groomed, not the groomer. So the groomer, if said person is the band director, they are absolutely the point of they're in the wrong, right? Because you have a choice whether, I don't want to say history repeats itself, but bad things repeat themselves, right? And so sometimes those things aren't going to stop until something has been put in place to be able to benefit or switch that behavior, right? If you want to talk about the Jeffrey Dahmer situation, if we want to talk about serial killers or whomever, usually those persons who are like that have experienced some type of void, or who haven't experienced some type of role or fulfillment, and it comes out in different ways, right? So let me be clear when I say, number one, whoever the higher person is, whoever the adult is, whoever the band director is, whoever is that in the role of the groomer or the person taking advantage of, is always at fault. Point blank, period. I'm gonna leave it there.
Okay. I was gonna let you get that in, but all right.
I'm
Quan?
gonna leave it there for now.
Okay.
Adult. The adult. You wrong. Period. You wrong. The reason why I say you're wrong is because you have a certain code of ethic that you need to operate at all times. Broken home, father figure, all of that. And I'm gonna be honest, it's to the point where, as a black male, the truth is you are guilty, even when you're innocent. You guilty. And I'll just have a transparent moment. There's somebody particular that honestly slandered my name at one point as well. And I was never have been in any of situations like that that's inappropriate with a student. But I bless God that people knew my character enough to be like, nah. But went through a full investigation and everything, but was lied on. I've seen band directors that have been lied on. And you have to create systems to protect you at the end of the day. The truth is, bro, if you're grooming a child, regardless, I don't care, age, whatever, you're wrong. I've seen situations where people have been caught in the act of inappropriate relationships with students and lost everything because, bro, you got a problem. You feel what I'm saying? There's no excuse of why you should be grooming a child. That's a child. Cognitively is not there. That's a child. So you guilty. If a student, because I've seen it as well. My mama would say this: womanish or mannish students approach teachers. You shut that down and you report it to protect you. I'm thankful that my office has open windows. And when I'm speaking to a young lady, I'm speaking to her with another counterpart, another female counterpart to protect me. Bruh, you wrong. There's no ifs, ands, buts. I don't care what attractiveness, what brokenness, whatever, you're wrong. And you got to hold yourself accountable at that standard because ain't none of that worth losing everything. So, daughter is wrong. You need to have integrity about yourself. And if you have an issue like that, that person needs help. Just bottom line. I don't, if it happens to you, you need to report it immediately. If that person is having that urge, they need to get out of education and they need to seek help. There's no excuse for none of it. And it's happening time and time again. There's been news articles where it's gotten to the point where people have had full-fledged relationships with people. Come on, bro. Like, come on. You're there for the betterment of the student to help them. And when you get to that point, all you're doing is just feeding into their brokenness. So you ain't no better. Nah, bro. That daughter's wrong.
And I know you said you were in a situation. But outside of that, and I know as a director, this has kind of happened a few times. But outside of that, have you found yourself with students who have really tried to attach themselves to you, and you've had to, kind of push them back and put them at bay, and so on and so forth?
Yeah. But it wasn't like that. The difference was because like there's a fine line between this is a father figure and I want this person to be my father. Like it's a fine line.
I agree.
And it's like the difference is when you're with those students all the time, like as band directors, as teachers, as educators, right? These kids tell us everything. We know what their mama do. We know what their daddy may not do, what their mama may not do, what their grandparents saying, how they feel at home, the struggles that they deal with internally, if they're cutters. We know them kids. You know what I'm saying? Like we really know them. But it's a fine line when you see that they can't, when they're trying to blur the line. That's when you define it again. Like, hey, I'm your band director, bro. If you have an issue, and especially for me, if you have a female issue, well, let me bring in the dance teacher. Let her talk to you about that, because that's an area where I don't need to step foot in that. You know what I'm saying? Or let me bring in another band mom to address that. But I mean, in the state of Texas, there's certain laws and certain words. When I hear, we got to go to the administrator, like right now, and that's just what it is, and that's just the fine line that you got to develop as a teacher and educator if you want longevity. And also, here's the bottom line: some of that you can't put yourself in that position. You cannot lead with your heart. When it comes to things like that, you got to lead with black and white. Black and white says if you say this word, if a young lady is saying inappropriately touch, if they're saying they're being abused at home, anything like that, oh, I'm about to hit this anonymous CPS like real quick. Like you got to look out for the benefit of the student at all times.
Oh man, Quan, man, you better be paying attention to those modules that we get at the beginning of every single year. Absolutely. Yeah. Better be paying attention. Shoot. The module, and you got to sit through them bad boys. But hey.
Yeah. And if you don't get a certain scope, because they hold you accountable.
Absolutely.
I know somebody that legitimately it was a question that was posed to him. And the question was, what is rape? That was the question. And because he didn't understand how the question was posed, he didn't think anything of it. So when that young lady then brought it to her, the administrator, they still held the teacher accountable because you didn't bring it up. Even though he wasn't fully aware, it was a question like, hey, like, what is rape? He didn't understand it. Like he defined it, and then he was like, okay, it's over. She never stated she was inappropriately touched. She was forced. None of that. He just was like, I just thought I defined it. And he was held accountable for that. So you gotta realize everybody looking for a fall guy. Don't position yourself to be that person. Protect yourself at all costs and at all times. So that's just what it is, bro. And honestly, when it comes even to some of these, we haven't tapped into it, but these same sex relationships, that's a different story too. Like you gotta tread through the murky waters too, bro, because it's abuse that goes through that. It's rape and stuff that happens through that, man. You better report that, man. Sometimes we try to protect people. Nah, let the people do their own job. I'm a band director. Let me be the band director, but let me report that too.
All right. This thing is gonna get a little bit more deeper as we get into this next topic. Hey, Portia, how you doing? She thinks she's pulling into the garage. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to the next topic. I got a question for everybody on the panel before we get into the next topic. So let me do this. Welcome everybody to Talk That Talk. We have the unfiltered. We definitely have an unscripted and definitely uncomfortable conversation tonight about band, HBCU band culture, music education, and more. Man, y'all go ahead and smash that like that, and man, get these likes up. Also, I don't know, you can go put a like down, thumb down. It's all right. I ain't tripping. All right. Also, please make sure you subscribe to the Passionates Network and turn on notifications. This episode will be up on all your podcast networks. Just type in Talk That Talk. On Apple Podcasts, type in Real Talk That Talk. All right, here we go. Here's the question going around the room. I gotta situate myself for this question here. All right, Maya, when you were younger, did you date someone older than you?
Yes, I have always dated someone older than me.
I'm talking about like.
Yes.
16, 20.
Unfortunately, yes.
Okay. All right. That's the question I'm asking. I ain't talking about like I'm 21 and the person is like 23. That's not what we're talking about.
Yes. No, I understand. And so for me, of course, hindsight 2020. But my position has always just been a little bit different, just in the sense of I've always been in the place of having to be older. Now I'm not saying that this is okay, but I'm saying like, yes, my age has been younger, but the age in which, because I graduated when I was 16. I graduated high school when I was 16 because I was advanced up. So in terms of that, again, I'm not excusing it. I'm not making it any different, but I'm just giving some clarity and some context as to how these things happened. And this particular person I knew in high school. And it kind of, okay, you didn't ask me that. Never mind.
I didn't at all. I mean, it just, don't worry about it. Yeah. Portia, what about you?
No, I don't do that. 5 years is my max. We needed to be on the same playground at some point in my life. Otherwise, we are no, I don't do it. Old man, get you worm. I don't. That's not a thing for me.
Oh, now wait. Let me be clear I was never a range larger than that either. Let me be clear, because you scared the hell out of me when you said that, Portia. Now wait, I ain't never went 16, 15 years. I think the max that I've done is 5 years. Yeah, way before.
He said, "Oh man, get you worms."
Yeah, now shit. Now whoa, you got to take me.
Good Lord. So I will, to answer my own question. No. Well, no. Yeah. I was 18. She was 30. Yeah. Or I may have been 17. I was in between. I was somewhere in that ballpark. I don't remember exactly, but yeah, absolutely. And you know, Quan is on a break real quick. But also, one of the things that I thought about too, when I was younger in high school, I just remember, and honestly, they talked about this on the podcast too, and it brought up some memories for me. I just remember girls getting picked up by dudes who didn't go to the school and had full cars and full beards and was probably going to TSU or U of H or something to that degree. And for me, I just could not wrap my head around why. So one of you, since you ladies are here, could you one of y'all answer that? Why was it acceptable for someone who may have been in high school to date somebody who was massively older?
I don't know that it is. Well, I mean, it's still laws on the books now in most of these states for people that can get married at 14, 15, and 16 years old. And, you know, it doesn't really regulate as long as they get the parents' permission, you know, it's legal. And I think that is the craziest thing in the world. But that's historically how things have worked. Women marry or date or pursue older men, but I don't know. There is no way that Wanda or Rob would have been down for any of that. I don't know. Like it was never acceptable. Like I couldn't even take rides from people that my parents didn't know. So you know, I don't know. But I saw it too. It was girls that had full-fledged. These men weren't even going to college. They had full-fledged jobs. And I ain't talking about they had full-fledged jobs because they decided not to go to college. They had full-fledged jobs because they had graduated from high school, our high school, 8, 9, 10 years ago. But you picking up this girl who's in 10th grade with me. I don't know why that's acceptable. And they didn't find nothing wrong with pulling up in the circle after school to pick these chicks up. But now it's a little bit more taboo. But most of the time people do. I mean, I had one friend, she did sneak and do it, and when her dad found out, I thought he was gonna kill everybody. But most of the time people gonna do what they allowed to do. That just wouldn't have been allowed in my house, and I was so scared of my dad when it came to stuff like that. I wouldn't have tested those waters. So yeah, it's not to me acceptable, but it used to be more acceptable than it is now. And I mean, depending on where you live, stuff like that, a lot of that stuff is still going on.
Okay. So all of these things and all those questions brings up the next topic. And we can talk about this from a personal sense, not you personally, like you have been through this or you have dealt with this, but you have seen it happen, or we can talk about it specifically coming from the band room or in education, because it has happened in education, and a lot of people have kind of turned a blind eye to it. So here's a question: when we hear about these situations, why do we sweep them under the rug? When we hear about these situations, why do we sweep them under the rug? Quan, or did he not hear anything? So he just kind of like, I don't even know what's going on.
My internet at the school is intermittent. I don't know why. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. So the question is, what was your question, bro? I'm sorry.
When we hear about these situations, why do we sweep them under the rug?
In regards of scandals with like older people and the kids?
Yeah. So, you know, young 16-year-old is messing with the brother that, I'll use Portia's example, then graduated is 10 years older, coming to pick him up from, you know, the schoolhouse, or sometimes even when these younger kids or even heck, sometimes staff members may know about what's going on with a teacher and some other young person and just won't say nothing. They sweep it under the rug. So when we hear about these situations, why do you think that we sweep them under the rug? Not as a personal thing, but more or less as a culture.
Because some of us honestly was raised, in my opinion, some of us honestly was raised by our grandparents, and that should happen then. Like, being honest. That's just my opinion. I don't think it's right at all. But to a degree, it's like we think that shit cute, and it ain't. Like, think about for young men it's quote unquote, it's a fantasy aspect for you to get the older teacher. You know what I'm saying? You gave the example, Luke, earlier of the professor and the younger female student. Like some of that is brainwashed in our mind in a society and culture that's cute, that's attractive, that's sexy, quote unquote. You know, it's forbidden, you know, so to speak. Like some of that people think is cute, but the truth is it ain't. And then also some people use it as a status, like going back to the attractiveness question in the beginning. Look at the situation with Anna Nicole Smith and how she blew up because she married a 90-year-old man. Like that sucks. But some of that what we see in our society overall, man, I think that's some of the things that we've accepted from the yesteryears, you know, and I don't think it's right. As long as you both are grown of legal age and you both parties are of sound mind and body, they know what they're doing, then that's different. But not no 16-year-old. That is you're still a predator. That's still grooming. And all you're doing is breaking these people down even worse. That's all I'm saying. So that's not cute. But in regards of sweeping it under the rug, I don't know. I don't know why I wouldn't sweep it under the rug. You know, but I'll check any man that says, you know, and I'm blessed God I've never been in a position where I heard a dude say, man, that student right there is fine. Or that student there gonna be fine. Nah, you got that mentality too. Like that's a child, bro. I've never looked at a student and was like, oh, they're attractive. Never. That's not what's up.
Okay. Oh, Maya, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I saw you hit the unmute daddy. All right. She back.
I was gonna go, but I didn't know if you had anything.
Yeah, because I was gonna get Portia, but I see her in the garage, daddy. So Maya, you can go, and then that'll give Portia enough time to get out and get settled.
So I agree. My mind went a little bit of a different way too. I think that it's swept under the rug because it's easier to not, right? We can recognize we can have an issue with it or whatever. Just like when we talk about bandhead stuff, it's hard to be the person in the room that has a different opinion or tries to bring something to the forefront. On the flip side of it, there's a point of acceptance. There's a point of personal dealing that comes with it as well, right? So my thought was when you at the house or whatever, and Uncle Ray Ray or Auntie Lulu or whomever, because it happens whether male or female coming over, you need to go put some pants on. That's not the kid's fault, or that's not or you need to go put a shirt on or whatever. That's not their fault for being at their house, being whatever. If you know that one particular person is coming over and someone has to change their appearance for things to be acceptable or for them to be okay, or, you know, oh, you don't need to be showing whatever. Well, why is he looking? Why is she looking? I'm a child. There's some personal dealings that have to come with that. Oh, because, I mean, we could talk about the Nicki Minaj situation and her husband or whomever. You know what I'm saying? Like, you've accepted this behavior from somebody, but also I don't want to send my brother to jail. I don't want to send my sister to jail or my uncle or my grandpa or whoever. So it's easier to sweep things under the rug as well, because it doesn't have to really blow up. It doesn't have to be dealt with. It doesn't have to be internalized. It doesn't have to be accepted. And we don't have to say verbatim and out loud that this is wrong, or I've been feeding into this particular behavior, whether subconscious or consciously. But that's the first thing I thought of, because just growing up, I've heard, seen, experienced that happen. Of course, more times it was a daughter or a child or a young lady, rather, as opposed to a dude. But I know that it happens both ways. So.
I guess for me, but as a parent, I think the difference is because we don't know everybody's mindset. I think some of our parents told us to go put a shirt on, because I know my mother would tell me if I didn't have a shirt on and she would have one of our lady friends come over, that a young man without a shirt on, that's disrespectful. That's how she reared me as. So you need to go put a shirt on. If a young man is coming over and I have a daughter, and just as she's walking around in our PJs and our PJs is short, I don't want to give that man the inkling or thought of it. So yes, sweetheart, you need to put on some clothes because it's a different aspect of being comfortable with your daddy. Because you know your daddy shouldn't. Let's be clear, your daddy should not have that mindset of whatever, right? But I think it's an aspect of protection. Um, but let's be clear, like them aunties or your mama friends when you get older, oh they be shooting their shot too. Oh, you is some handsome now. You didn't grow up. Where you stay at now? You know what I'm saying? Like they be on that too. So I mean, and then vice versa. You know, like look at black movies on how I think it was Medea's brother Joe. I think it was on a family reunion where he was like, "Girl, aren't you Sophia's granddaughter? Go and reach down, way deep down in that tub, you know, for that cold drink." I mean, we sweep those things under the rug, but those things actually happen. And I think it's about protecting your kids, bro, at all costs. But it doesn't make it right. Like none of it is right. Uh, it's just crazy, bro. It's just crazy.
All right. Portia, when we hear about these things, why do we sweep them under the rug? As a culture, not personally. Got to make sure I put it at, because I know some of y'all be like, I ain't sleeping that shit. But no, I'm as a culture.
For me, for the most part, what I see is like I think Maya was starting to say, it's the easy way out. And you know, in the Black culture, our mentality is their business is not our business, or you know, what happens here stays here, or you know, we also have this thing where if we don't know it to be true or we can't prove it, you know, I don't want to ruin nobody's life, you know, that's basically not my business. So I'm not going to worry about that. But it is your business if you know that somebody is dealing with a child, dealing with a, you know, a student. That is your business. Because where's your sense of community? How would you feel if that was your child, if that was your relative? So I think it's the easy way out. And I also think we use this as a chance when we choose to mind our business or not address it, or I don't want to be involved in that. So to me, it's a scapegoat more than anything.
And to add to that portion, what I realize is the resolution is bigger for us in our community than actually sitting down and saying this is what it is. Like that's bigger. Like people don't want to really resolve it. Like like you hit the nail on the head. It's more publicly damaging to truly say that this uncle that y'all been supporting all these years have been not only touching this person, but this person, this person, and this person. And I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna be real. Everybody that knows me, I'm a firm believer in Christ. But you can't just pray everything away. And that's something that we got an issue where we're just gonna pray for him. No, that he needs to be held accountable and he needs the proper help. Because if not, he's gonna keep victimizing more and more people. Think about some of the people that have to literally go to family functions and that we know that person is wrong. You know what I'm saying? Or they've done people wrong. But it's easier to sweep it under the rug than truly face it. Most people don't want to face their demons to really be healed. I think that's the bottom line of it.
So keeping it in the same thought process, sweeping it under the rug. When you are dealing, or I'm not gonna say when you're dealing with it, but when you have situations like, and I'll give you an example. I heard about a director a long time ago who was having a relationship with a young student. Got caught. They let him back in the band room and got caught a second time. But he didn't get caught by the teachers or the student body. He got caught in the house by the parent. So my thing is when I'm talking about, or when I bring up, or when we talk about sweeping it under the rug, we're also talking about peers doing it as well, right? Because the students knew that the girl, and even in other situations, the student knew that the young lady was messing with the teacher, but they don't say anything. You know, or the students know that little Johnny is messing with Miss whatever name, you know, but they don't say anything. So in that same vein, why do we feel as a culture it's okay to sweep those things under the rug as well?
I'm just going to say this real quick, Portia. It's no difference. So all of those people that knew should be held accountable too. That's number one. Number two, I see a comment from Tina. She's saying about the R. Kelly situation. This is how I feel. If you put R. Kelly in jail, you need to put all them parents in jail too. That's just my thought about it.
I completely agree, because I wasn't getting flued out nowhere. And Robert be like, my dad be like, you going where? You doing what? Well, who? Huh?
You feel me?
You going where? Let me tell y'all a story. Honest. Okay, this the kind of parents I had, all right? I'm adopted, but I know my biological mom, and she had saved up because I really wanted this Coach bag, and she bought it for me. My parents wasn't even home. I came home and hung it on my door. I go downstairs to dinner. My parents sitting there. They told me something. You need to tell us something. I said, what's going on? They said, where that purse come from? We ain't buy it. I checked with him. I checked with her. She didn't pay for it. Where it come from? I said, y'all wasn't here. My mama saved up and she got it for me. They was like, oh, because we was gonna be some problems. My daddy came to me one day. I will never forget. I was in 9th grade and said, so you still feel like you want to fight us? And I say, what are you talking about? He said, all this around here, my house. So I found out, I eventually, every so often, read that diary that's under that mattress because I want to see where your head at. So I couldn't stay over nobody's house that they ain't know their parents. I couldn't take rides from people that they ain't who your mama, who I don't. Those parents had to know. Where's your child flying off to? And you don't know. Where's your child coming in the house with Gucci, Louis Vuitton, all this stuff? Who was buying those parents off? I don't care what nobody say. Because my mama and my daddy wasn't down for none of that. They are responsible. Where do you think your child was at? Where? don't want to get super off tangent, but if you really look at that series when it first started, they said that she was kidnapped, but you knew where they were. That ain't kidnapped. That's number one. Number two, you knocked on the door and she opened the door and he was nowhere to be around. So that was her own will. And then all of a sudden, when the woman said her occupation, she said that she worked, one of the parents said they work in billing and coding. But I looked at you from head to toe. You had a Hermes backpack. You had some Gucci slippers on. You're not making that in billing coding. They've been paying you. And then you driving around in your car, which was a brand new Tahoe at the time. They was paying you off. That's why it's like, as African Americans, we got to look at the writing on the wall. If he guilty for all of that and he wrong, cool. But them parents wrong too. So it was another one, mama and daddy. So you telling me that as a father? So Luke, you telling me as a father, you gonna drop your kid off to R. Kelly house after the fact, that after that tape then quote unquote came out? Come on. Like we gotta look.
Don't ask me what I do because I kill him.
But you feel me? I'm a step on you.
I think that they only started filing charges, and it only became a problem when he stopped paying them. I'm sorry. The math ain't nothing. No. You not telling me that he's flying these girls out, and y'all don't know where your child at for a weekend? Somebody lying. But
watch this though. But then to even push it even a step further, but you had grown women that was there too, talking about he wouldn't feed me. So tell me this though. Tell me this. You 30, your whole job is on radio, but then you backdoor and you say, well, he wasn't feeding me, and then he could leave. He left and came back, but you still left. You stupid too.
They
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't get that.
I don't know how we, and I think the reality is, and I know a lot of people gonna not like this, is so accepted in our community because a lot of this been happening for a lot of years in a lot of these families, and we haven't dealt with it. And because we haven't dealt with it, that's our mentality about it. It's better to ignore it than to address it.
Exactly.
That's just what it is. Like,
that's exactly why I said, like, you don't want to tell on your brother. You don't want to have to send your brother to jail or your sister or whatever, because now you got to put the spotlight on us. Whether it's the perfect family, whether it's the whatever the case may be, we got to make it a little bit more real. And now I got to taste it in my mouth. Nah, something wrong with this man. You know what I'm saying?
But that's the thing. But you knew it though.
But that's what I'm saying though. So now you got to know that I'm filthy too. Now you got to know it's also something that's not really clicking on all fours for me too. So everybody's shit been brought.
And you know what's sad about this is that there are some people who feel like there's loyalty to the offenders. There's some people that feel like, I know a situation, a friend of mine who found out somebody in her family was doing something to a child and told them, split the whole family in half. Half of them felt like she did the right thing, and the other half felt like family is family. You hold family down. We could have dealt with this internally.
But that goes back to the sweeping under the rug that we talked about last week.
What y'all talking about last week?
You on vacation? Huh? Just go back.
No, but for real, like, what in the name? Like, that's so crazy to me. And when she was telling me what was happening, I was like, this is nuts. Like, family divided. Like, they can't even come together for Thanksgiving no more. It's two different places. It's the people who rode for the family member and the people who rode for her. And I'm like, what about riding for this child that's no longer the same? How that? But yeah, it's people. And my thing is the people that rode for him, are you leaving your kids with him? Because now that I done got away with it, and I know some of y'all gonna have my back. Well, he didn't really get away with it. He ended up going to jail. But all y'all didn't forsake me.
Right.
So I'm gonna do it again when I get out.
Right.
Because y'all gonna ride for me. It's the craziest thing I have ever seen in my entire life. But that's our mentality.
You can take that and flip that. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, loyalty and family and all that does not supersede doing the right thing to me.
No, I agree with that. And I think you can flip that to the whole friend situation and look that you mentioned earlier. Like, oh, you know, if my best friend, my best friend's best friend, whoever, they all knew that I was, this is not a true story. Because I know how y'all like to do. Not me personally, but said person was acting with this older individual. I mean, shit, as long as I keep getting A's because you messing with Professor Z, diddy-diddy, whoever, you know what I'm saying? And I know that my stuff is squared away. I'm going to keep my stuff on the hush. Again, this is not me speaking. It's not how I feel. Said person can feel entitled because they're in the cool. So it's, again, we don't have to accept it. We don't have to make a big deal out of it because I got what I need and I'm able to prosper and I'm able to do what I need to do with ease because I got this over you, right? You might want to step back in line because if you don't, I got this to hang over your head, then all your shit falling down. London Bridge is falling down. So.
Now when it comes to kids, that's the problem. And as an educator, that's what we see on a daily basis. That's what we teach on a daily basis. And I don't care if it's affluent. I don't care if it's urban. I don't care none of that. It happens. And as teachers, we deal with the backlash. We deal with the backlash of those kids having crazy outbursts. They can't contain and they don't know how to deal with their emotions. They're rageful because you telling me I get it at home. I'm not safe at home. I'm not safe at school. More and more kids have become cutters. More and more people, like the suicide rate is going up. I mean, and we want to speak about it. It does happen frequently, with young ladies, but I realize it happened with young boys too.
It does, and
a lot.
But there's a topic that's gonna talk about that, so I don't want to jump too quick into that. But you're absolutely right, Quan. You're absolutely right. All right. Well, speaking of topics, let's go ahead and move on to the next topic. All right, man. Welcome everybody to Talk That Talk. We have the unfiltered, unscripted, uncomfortable conversations about band, HBCU band culture, music education, and more, man. Y'all go ahead and smash that like daddy for this episode, man. Also, please make sure you subscribe to the Passion Is Network and turn on notifications. This episode will be up on all your podcast networks. Just type in Talk That Talk, except for on Apple Podcasts, type in Real Talk That Talk. All right, Quan, you kind of hit on it a little bit earlier. This is not the male female thing, so we're not going to jump right into that. But you kind of hit on it a little bit earlier when you were talking about the consenting age, right? So here we go. Should student-teacher relationships at the university level be overlooked? Go ahead, Portia.
Y'all gave up cursing. No. No.
You were cursing on mute?
Mm-mm.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm just saying I gave up cursing. No. No, it should not. That is wrong. And that is a big pet peeve of mine. That is crazy because it's still a power dynamic. And what I don't understand is, yes, these are consenting adults, but if you're on a staff at a university or a band staff, like, you have a power dynamic over whatever student this is. And what I don't get is for these people who are actually band directors, that podium gets you anything you want out here. So I'm just trying to figure out why you got to go for these students. And the other thing that I don't understand, and I mean this, no, I'm going to mean it how I'm going to say it. I ain't seen nothing there that make me want to jeopardize anything. They all broke. What, we gonna wait till you get out of band practice to go out? No, I don't even understand it. I don't get it. I'm at this age, I just look at them like, and when I first got back on staff, one of the boys was like, "Oh, Miss Portia," I said, "I don't do Fisher Price, Tonka toy, Play-Doh, none of that. Don't do it. Bye." Like, I don't get that. And then for those that are university employees, you're going to jeopardize your coin over a female when it's grown women that have nothing to do with this university that's chasing you just because you're in that podium, just because you're leading this band program, just because you're the head arranger. Just you going to get you, that's going to get you grown women. So why are you dealing with these students? I don't do nothing to jeopardize my coin. You hear me? This mortgage and these bills need that check. I don't understand it, but they do it all the time. But I still think it is wrong. There is a problem with that. I just don't agree with that. And I don't care that it's an adult. That's nasty. Like I said, old men give you worms.
Oh man, I'm sorry, that is hilarious to me. All right, Maya. Should student teacher, God darn it, shut up. Should student teacher relationships at the university level, shut up, be overlooked?
Turn on mute.
I had it on mute, but then it came off of mute. I'm sorry.
No, it shouldn't be. Like, everybody wants to pull we adults. We pick and choose when we want to use that as a validating statement. Oh, we grown now, this, that, and the third. But still, at the end of the day, there are things in place to where even out in the real world, adult or not, you can get a job when you're 16 years old. You can't even be in the same department and report to your spouse or whomever the case may be. So why would this make this any different? Why would this make this okay? So, no, long story short, no. Or it should. I'm reading the thing again. No, it shouldn't be overlooked. What's funny? Did I miss something?
Yes, I do.
Did I miss something?
No, you didn't. You didn't at all. You didn't at all.
No,
go ahead.
I just think that I think that shit's real crazy because it's like it's a scapegoat, right? Because we're able to say, I don't know. I just don't like when there are blurred line conversations where we can say at some point this is okay. It's okay until shit goes left. Things are okay until we actually got to deal with it and reprimand persons or whatever the case may be. So no, it should not be overlooked.
All right. So before I get to Kwanzaa, I want to say this. So I'm old. I know that. So Saved by the Bell, the college years, to me, I thought was a great show. Did a decent job of following the actual Saved by the Bell. Let me just put that out there. This is, a lot of people didn't like it. I thought it was great. But anyway, in Saved by the Bell, the college years, yes, it's Power Rangers. It's not Kim Possible. Y'all don't know anything about music. Anyway, but Saved by the Bell, the college years, on a series of episodes, Kelly started dating Professor Lasky. Now, if you didn't watch it, just know that Kelly was the undergraduate student and obviously Professor Lasky. The young ladies on the episode didn't have a problem with it. And as a matter of fact, many people didn't have a problem with it, except for Zach, obviously. But that's because he just kind of wanted Kelly. But he made it very, very known to the dean. The biggest thing that Professor Lasky had the issue was just the fact of embarrassment. He didn't want to be embarrassed because he felt that it was not unethical specifically, but just the fact that he was dating a younger person and specifically a student. And so when I watched that episode, for me, I was just rooting for Zach. So I was like, you shouldn't be messing with Professor Lasky, you phony, you a cheater, blah, blah, blah. But, as I got older, because every year or maybe every 2 years, I go back and watch the whole series of Saved by the Bell again. So I think it was last year when I watched it. When I watched it now as an adult, I look at it and there's two sides of me. One side of me is like, well, she's older than 18. So, I mean, But then there's the other side of me that says, well, he is a professor. And like you said, Portia, there is a power dynamic. So I personally am kind of on Zach Morris is not trash. All right. But for me, I'm on two sides of the fence. As a matter of fact, Zach is trash, but he one of the greatest characters ever in that show. Slater definitely was second, and then obviously Screech. All right, but Quan, go ahead. My bad. Quan, should teacher-student relationships at the university level be overlooked?
No. So no, it shouldn't be overlooked because you don't want it to. Because bottom line is a conflict of interest. We're gonna be honest. Bottom line, it really is. If a said student is trying to talk to a director, then let's be honest. Maya, you mentioned blackmailing. If you got some tapes or footage, you could possibly get a full scholarship and you play cymbals. Just saying, that's never heard of. You know what I'm saying? You play front ensemble and you got a full ride. That don't make sense to me, right? So does it have, and we say student teacher? I don't know. They both are grown, so it's not to a point of like rape or anything. What is the proper term? Come on, somebody help me out. Statutory or anything like that. But just bottom line is a conflict of interest with the situation, because once two people disagree, then how can you keep the professionalism there? It's out the window. So that's why it's just best not to do it at all. That's all I'm saying. So yeah, should it be overlooked? Nah.
I play first triangle. I'm sorry. That's funny, Jack. And I'm gonna be honest. I know of at least 4 marriages where it was a band director student. Now these were older, like band director. These was like 80s, 90s. But then that again goes back to what I said or the question earlier, why do we overlook it? Why is it just like me? Whatever, right? But no, I'm just curious because of the fact that, like I said, you're dealing with adults. There is that power dynamic. But let me still ask this question. They are two consenting adults.
I wouldn't do it, bro. It couldn't be me. I mean, like Portia said, it ain't worth, but it ain't worth your job. It ain't worth your job, bro. It just ain't worth your job.
Because she or he is consenting while it's beneficial to me. Because the flip side to that is you are still going to be accountable to that university. Well, you can't go in there and be like, they are consenting adult. If now she mad or he mad and complained and said, I felt like I had to mess with him or her, or I had to do this, or I felt like this or that, or I was made to feel like there would be some benefit to me if I did this or that. See, that's the problem there. It's all good until it ain't.
Hey, so y'all remember that little picture from the FAMU Rattler girl when they took the picture naked in front of the Rattler?
Oh yeah.
You remember that they had threatened her? They was like, "Well, they're not gonna give her diploma." And her rebuttal. Remember what she said? She said, "If I don't get my diploma, it's gonna be a whole bunch of professors that are gonna be exposed.
That's going down with me."
Exactly.
So it's all good till it ain't.
So, nah.
And I know of some situations that have happened up here. It was all good till it won't. Now you have to answer to the administration about your little job.
Chuck stupid. Chuck say, but what about years after graduation?
So that was my thought too. I thought you were gonna bring that up because, but you will never get over the sense of that mean you was looking when I was in school. Let's be clear.
Period.
Hey,
grown then at that point. Nah.
Please, I ain't just I always look like that.
I'm sorry. I don't.
If we end up married 7 years down the road,
I disagree with that.
That ain't true.
No, I disagree with that. I'm gonna tell you why I disagree with that. I'm gonna tell you why I disagree with that. That means that let's just say for the sake of argument, it's a band director and a student, right? And they're both adults, and the band director was checking them out the whole time, but they graduate. That means that band director practiced restraint that whole time and was respectful. And then all of a sudden, nah.
Maybe it got better. Maybe all that got better. And I was like, well, shit.
We probably did, but there was still a little something happening.
But I didn't do it though.
I just think it's weird. It ain't a single person that was on the band staff when I was at Norfolk that I'd be like, ooh, now that I'm graduated. But
you're talking from a personal experience though. What if, you know what I'm saying? What if I'm just saying, Portia, what if some old miso body teacher was in there and he was like, oh yeah,
he would have had to been 20 graduate time.
Nah, I don't know. I'm just saying.
Hey, and he pull up on you and be like, Miss Portia,
thank you.
All these years.
Thank you.
And you be like, you know what?
I'm reading the alarm.
It's Tuesday.
You got a student?
Just saying. What if hey,
no more? You graduated.
He graduated 4 or 5 years later. He saw you at homecoming, Miss Portia, and you look at him like.
First of all, I don't want nobody calling me Miss Portia. It's a problem. It's a problem. If you got to refer to me as Miss Portia, you already.
What you want to say? Pusha P, come on now.
I don't want you to say nothing. Leave me alone.
Push.
Thank you.
What?
Pusha P, now that's a tough one. You might need to put that on a shirt.
No, I don't want it. I don't think 5 years is my max.
Respectful us. Oh, y'all going too far.
You missing out on our money. What happened?
Y'all going too far. Come on. She said respectful us. You can see my thing is this, as a man, you can see a person be like, she's attractive, and you keep it pushing. You don't have to be gawking, like mouth drooling over a person.
Says you gawking, but if the opportunity presented itself in this situation, said opportunity did present itself
years later though?
After graduation, like years later?
We talking about
Okay, so maybe I'm the problem. Okay, maybe it's me because
Maybe
if something like that would have happened,
problem because I feel the same way, Maya.
You're not gonna get me to say, "Oh, that mean that if something happened while they was in undergrad, or they was at least checking for each other, whatever, and they was just waiting until I just need you to get that diploma in your hand."
Listen,
I'm just waiting on the
Maya,
second.
you know, Portia, you know, y'all both got some band members that was checking out some professors at the time, right?
I don't know what you're
Let's
talking
be
about.
real. Let's be real. Let's be real. Let's just leave it at yes or no.
Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah.
So what I'm saying is this, and I think that me and Quan may be on the same page with this one. What we're saying is this:
not battle of the sexes.
When that said person that y'all may know graduates, and they still find that professor attractive, and that professor comes to them 3, 4, 5 years after graduation, is like, hey, you know, I'm trying to shoot my shot. What's good? You mean to tell me that those persons that you may know gonna be like, nah, I'm good. You old and nasty now. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I'm giving you Portia's opinion.
Oh, okay. Well,
I think it's gross. I would never do it. I'm not saying people don't do it. I told y'all I think old men get worms. It's not my preference. I don't do that. I don't like it. It's not, and I think the youngest person I dated was like 2 years younger than me. So these it doesn't work for me. I could never see me dating somebody that was in the Legion while I was on the staff. That's just nasty.
Wait, I got a question.
What?
If we talking about staff, are we talking about band directors?
I don't care what you did. You could pass out water. No.
Student teachers, actual student teachers, does all this apply?
But student teachers are usually either undergraduate or grad students.
Yeah. You still on band staff?
We ain't talking because they right, like that's phony. No, that's not what we're talking about.
I'm just asking.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm just letting you know that's not what we're talking about. We talking about the directors, the head associate. Assistant.
Okay, wait. Let me ask you. Okay, so Portia, let's say because now I'm intrigued. Let's say that the band director just happens to be within 5 or 6 years. You still wouldn't. And I'm talking about fine, like
that was my story. All of them was way
to the dark side,
way older than me.
But this particular one is not. Just happens to be 5 or 6 years removed, maybe five years older than you. Sure, yeah, absolutely. Because this ain't never happened to none of us. I'm talking about fine, like God's gift from earth, fine.
Come on.
I ain't trying to be funny. You making them sound good to me, and I ain't like it. Just saying, shit, I'm gonna take it. I'm like, somebody roll the clip back, like, damn, nah, I'm just a joke, y'all. We family.
I'm gonna cut it right there.
I guess if that was my story, I don't know. I guess that might be different, but
she's saying, yeah.
That's what she's saying.
She getting a yeah.
Oh yeah, she gonna test them water.
She gonna get up in there.
No, but you know what? I probably wouldn't do it because more than likely that's a hoe.
Oh, well, shit.
How you just make up a hypothetical with the hypothetical portion?
Because I mean, the FC would get thrown at that podium. Okay, I'm telling you, you ain't got to be the one on the podium all the time. You can do anything on a band staff, and it be like, oh my god! So it's a hoe. He fine like that. He the head. He the HNIC, and he young. He a hoe.
Fair.
Why? Because of the power dynamic? Because of the access they want?
Absolutely.
You should hear the stuff that people say. I be like, oh my god, or the stuff because I'm close to a lot of the guys on band staff.
Right.
The stuff that people say,
right,
is absolutely ridiculous. I just be like, oh.
We had Portia on our side for like 5 seconds, and then after that, she just like, no, I'm good.
It's a hoe, so I don't want to.
Like, came to the dark side for like 5 seconds, didn't like it over here, and switched back. Man, come on.
She walked in a dark room and hit the switch. It's too damn dark in here.
Right.
Oh man, that's funny.
Ah, man. Well, at least mine, we got you. So it's all right. Yeah.
No, wait. Don't
Yes,
claim me. Don't claim
you
me.
said it.
I'm just playing devil's advocate.
Right, but the
I
advocate
ain't
that
got
you
no
was
dog in
playing,
this
look,
fight.
the advocate that you was playing looked pretty good to you. That's all I'm saying. There you go.
I plead the fifth. I don't got no dog in this fight.
None of us have a dog in the fight. I'm just saying. But hey, you on the dark side. Welcome.
We still talking about 5 years?
5
years.
5 years. Now let me ask you this question while we're still in this realm before we move on to the last topic and I open up these phone lines and everybody can come in here and start yelling at us. So I know that you all were saying, what if of, it's good until it ain't good, right? But what if the relationship just works out? Is that still a bad thing?
What you mean?
So band, let's go back to the band.
Which relationship?
Band director gets with the student. Let's say random saxophone player, 19-year-old saxophone player. And obviously we've already talked about how we sweep it under the rug. So all the people in the section know about it. They like, girl, go ahead. And then I don't know if the staff know about it. If they know about it, they probably get in trouble. But I'm just saying that everybody knows about it, right? And then they make it out. Was that bad the whole time? Was it wrong?
Yes.
It still was wrong.
Yeah.
Y'all made
no
it.
point in time you're gonna stop talking about it. Like, it's just okay, but that doesn't negate the fact that yes, it was wrong and shouldn't have been done in the first place. But to be palatable or to go about your business or go on with the rest of your life just because something else is happening is different than saying like, oh, just because they finished just because they crossed the finish line, sure, let's now accept it, or let's now, when you break it down to what it actually was, it's still wrong. At the end of the day, it's still wrong.
All right. Okay. No problem. All right, man. Let's get on to this next topic or this last topic, man. We might get into another heated argument, a fun heated argument. Last topic, but let's do it first. Welcome everybody to Talk That Talk. We have the unfiltered, unscripted, uncomfortable conversation about band, HBCU, band culture, music education, and more. Man, oops, smash it like that. There we go. Man, y'all go ahead and smash that like daddy, man. Let's get these likes up. Also, please make sure you subscribe to the Passion Is Network and turn on notifications. This episode will be up on all your podcasts and networks. Just type in Talk That Talk, except for on Apple Podcasts, where you can type in Real Talk That Talk. Also, this is the last topic, so I'm going to be posting a link inside of the chat, and I'm going to be pinning it inside of the chat on the YouTube, so that way you can come in and talk that talk with us. Here we go. Last topic. So we have had all these conversations, and in most cases, well, I just put it this way. I just asked the question. Is it more acceptable? What's more acceptable? Men or women? Let me give you some context here. Typically, if the young lady is messing with the older person versus if the young man is messing with the older young lady, or excuse me, not the older young lady, but the older woman. Usually, which one do you hear the most of? Both. Which one is more acceptable? Men or women? Portia.
Older man with a young woman. That's more acceptable. Sugar daddies are glorified. Cougars, not so much.
Shit.
At least not to the extent to.
No, it's not as I'm saying it's not as glorified, to me, as the other. I mean, people talk about sugar daddies all the time. It's something to have, or his wife is so young and beautiful. Even to the way that they describe that dynamic, is more words to me to describe a young wife or a young girlfriend or a young woman with an older man than it is It's songs about it, tenderoni, all of this stuff to glorify these young women. But to me, that's more acceptable. It's more glorified. It's more mainstream.
You never heard this song. You never heard this song. Them girls better not mess with my juvie. You never heard that one, huh? Because he hot and he don't want to lose, man. I like the way. Oh, all right. Sorry.
Oh my God!
We tell her home. I'm sorry, you got me here. I'm about to.
I'm just saying.
This is not 2012. Really
Rest in
bad.
peace, Magnolia Shorty.
I know, I feel you for damn sure, for shit show. But no, so like my mind went to, okay, husband and wife are married, right? They get a divorce, right? When a man gets a divorce and he gets a young fling, young dink, whatever, it's like
The Cougars do the same thing.
I mean, but that's what I'm saying. So also, but now I don't know when this shift happened, but when Stella got a groove back, is a thing too. Let's be clear. So I'm not really sure. When you pose that question, my mind went to who is the victim, but we're not talking about this in that.
No, you can go both ways. It's cool.
So more acceptable in terms of that's tough. Victim. Off top, I would say women being a victim, because a lot of people want to say like, oh, why is a man a victim? Why could a woman ever rape a child, rape a man, or rape a boy, or what have you? We don't find that to be possible, for lack of better words, right? So in terms of that sense, I think what's more acceptable, and acceptable is a very loose word just in the sense of this particular sentence, it is more heard of for the victim to be a woman and it be like, oh, okay, as opposed to a man. On the flip side, we're talking about fully consenting adults or whatever, what have you, to go get you a little young tenderoni. I mean, if you like it, I love it. Cougar, sugar daddy, sugar mama, sugar baby, gender neutral. I don't know.
So I just think overall at this point right now, it's accepted on both parties, and it depends on how you look at it. So a sugar daddy looks like is typically described as the creepy old dude with the blue pills in his pocket that's shaking it like, hey, girl, you know, I got 350s and 820s. Like that's what type of that's how they describe them.
That's yesterday's sugar daddy. I just want to put that tidbit in there. That's yesterday.
Okay.
Yeah, that's not today's sugar daddy, baby.
It may not, because I forgot that dude. I think he was a professor too, but he's like a model and he has the gray full build. They call him Silver Foxes. That dude, he be in Houston.
Yeah.
But okay, he will quote unquote be a sugar daddy, but that's like even Ronald Isley. Women was going crazy over his beard. You feel what I'm saying? So
he should have got that beard a long time ago, because Ron ain't used to look like that, honey.
And what he got now? A young tenderoni. That woman that he married to?
Right. But watch this though. But how many on the flip side, cougars are the quote unquote cougars are, they could be like, I think it was a skit that was like, you need to go to my son's barber because your hair looking peasy. Well, here's your money for that. I know you're gonna play your game, but I left some food. They get the DoorDash coming. Like it's in my opinion, in this society, it's accepted both parties, and it's literally who is this benefit? Who is benefiting at that particular time? Because Cougars is winning. Because quote unquote now it's women empowerment to be like, hey, if I want to go and be a notch on somebody's belt, it's gonna be on my terms, and this is what I'm gonna do. If a dude say, hey, it ain't tricking if you got it, then it is what it is over there. So I mean, I just look at it, quote unquote, it's not about man or woman. It's in today's world, it's accepted. Like, look at Diddy and Young Miami. He keeps saying both of them single, but he keep tricking on his quote unquote girl, and she's saying that she go with him.
And she on the come up.
You feel me?
The truest.
He a sugar daddy, but if the sugar look like the car he bought her, okay, sis, win. Go ahead, okay.
You dig what I'm saying? So it's like, man, that just depends on the beneficiary. So some people, their stakes are higher than the other, and their cost just went up. So because you can't tell me, and this is what I found out, everybody got a price. The question is, what price you willing to pay? That's all I'm saying. Everybody got a price.
I used to say that about
everybody has a price.
Yeah.
The question is, are you willing to pay that price though? You can't. I know Portia over here saying, man, I ain't dating no dude this age. Let that dude be fly. Let him have his stuff together. Let him come at you with respect. Let him be established. You ain't gonna
to the grave.
You ain't gonna look back at it like shit.
But okay, so I feel you, because that's why I said today's sugar daddy is a little bit different. Today's sugar daddy ain't necessarily the 93-year-old man that's in the hospital pimped up to the damn.
I'm just sorry if I'm old enough to be your child. It's a problem.
Not even that. That's what I'm saying. 40-year-olds or 50-year-olds, they sugar daddies. It's really more so the dynamic of the relationship that determines whether it's a sugar something, a cougar something, a sugar baby, your baby, my baby, sweet lady, whatever. If there's a benefit to gain, right?
If you 50 years old, you could be my daddy, and it's a no.
But what am I, 29? You can be 30.
If your guy,
you can be 29 and be my damn sugar daddy. You know what I'm saying? It's just more so. It's the dynamic of the relationship. What is a sugar baby versus a sugar mama or daddy relationship? There's something to gain. Whether it's what is the payment? There's payment on both sides. It just depends on what type of payment it is. Everybody has a price. Everybody's price ain't the same. So I feel you with that.
Everybody got a price.
So let me.
This is a wild conversation. How did we get here?
Well, I'm right. I'm going a different way. You say what, Quan?
I thought this was an unfiltered talk about band. I don't know how.
Exactly. We talk about sugar babies and cougars.
Hey man, I always
some of these alumni be sugar daddies. Watch, it's gonna be a couple of them that's gonna be sugar. That's gonna get flipped and sugar daddies doing homecoming.
Without a shadow of a doubt.
How many of them sorority women be like, "Hey, frat, you what year did you cross?" I'm over here. I'm gonna talk to y'all later. I'm gone. They be trying to get it in them. Come on, they be trying to get it in them tents at PV. Don't be acting like that. Come on, now them RVs back there.
But let me put it. Let me go a different route. I'm gonna actually go back to the route that Maya was on for a second and talk about the victims, right? Like, if it's a young boy and an older female teacher, it's always like, "Oh, you was with that? Oh, shoot!" Right? But if it's a young lady and an older male teacher, it's like, "I can't believe you. How could you do that?" Right? So that still goes into the question: what's more acceptable, the men or the women?
Oh, in that case, it's the man is more acceptable. On the flip side, well, being the younger person,
right?
That's more acceptable.
That man is more likely to go to jail, though.
Yep, than that woman.
Facts.
Than that woman.
I mean, for sure. But taking it a step further, I mean, more times than not, if men and women are doing the exact same thing, women are gonna be looked at. How dare you? You trifling, you nasty, you weren't raised right, you ain't whatever. But men do the same thing, trifling or not, and it's a little bit more acceptable. So that we can take that across lines, not just sugar baby, sugar daddy, or older relationships. That's a whole nother conversation. Women aren't seen as equal regardless. So.
I'm about to say, is that a whole nother conversation? To
yes.
Me, I think it's the same conversation. We ain't talking about band and teachers, but I mean, it sounds like the same conversation to me. But go ahead. No, I'm sorry.
We can take that across a multitude of different conversations of how the measure of men and women and who supersedes who in terms of what's accepted and what's not. Child, please. Let's be real.
Yeah, that can be taken over. You got me. Let me write that down and give me some topics there. Yep. I'm telling you, there may be a lot of times where we just go way off of this band room talk sometimes, and that might be one of them. That might be one of them. All right, man. Let's go ahead and bring. Oh, go ahead, Maya. You about to say
I
something?
was gonna say that's refreshing. That keeps things, it keeps the entertainment value up. It keeps the dynamic portion of the show up. Like, I like it. Like you said, I'm a businesswoman for sure.
All right. It's right here, man. All right, man. Chuck is down there, man. Let's bring Chuck. We ain't seen him in a month of Sundays. All right, brother. What's going on, man?
What up? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
All right, cool. What's up, guys?
Man, we good. Everybody's good, man. It's good to see you, man. I know you've been banding it up and teaching it up and leadering it up and counseloring it up and everything else in between.
Right. It almost took me out. But nah, I've been busy, man. How are y'all doing? Everybody doing all right?
Yeah, we good, man. I'm gonna assume we all here, we alive, so we good.
That's what's up. That's what's up. What was it when y'all were talking earlier? It made me think about and I guess I want to ask y'all this question. I already think I know some of the answers from some of y'all, but because you may have talked about it. But did anybody shoot their shot to a TA like when you were in college? Like you only a couple years difference from a TA. No,
I didn't.
You didn't?
I don't remember having that many TAs either. So that was a thing too.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. It made me think about it because my freshman year we had a TA in my biology class. Now as music majors, we only got to take one math, one science, and then we done. Then we on to some other things. So she had just graduated. I think like 22, maybe. 22, maybe 23. I remember trying to shoot my shot. I purposely missed a test so I could do the makeup test later, after class, after band practice. So it was like a one-on-one situation, and I had it mapped out in my head, But yeah, she went.
And when you went in there, it was the actual teacher, wasn't it?
No, it was the TA. I was like, she wasn't gone. So, but seriously though, and then you guys talked about something that I have firsthand experience in. Y'all were talking about band moms.
Them booster moms.
Let me tell you. Let me tell you. The mother of my daughter, we separated, and as soon as that word got out, man, I was having plates of spaghetti. I was having gas cards on my desk. Like, I lied to you not. It was like, I had no clue. During and then after that, man, Mr. Connor, after you left, you had no idea. Like, like, I don't know, just the conversations and the things that were happening with some of these band moms. Like, I was like, man, so I mean, that's a real thing. And I think you guys touched on it in a major way about just being, I mean, we see it. I'm a huge NBA fan, and we all have heard of what was going on with Coach Ime Udoka from the Celtics, and that situation. And the reason why it was even brought to light is because of the position that he holds and the position of the other individuals too. Mm-hmm. Both of them, and it's crazy. I watch a lot of different podcasts, and Matt Barnes on All the Smoke, one of my favorite podcasts. He was like, he made a statement, and then the next day he retracted it because somebody kind of gave him some insight to the situation. He's like, I'll be surprised if this guy ever coaches ever again. After, because it's a whole laundry list of things that were going on. And so, my first principal was my assistant principal when I was in high school. And he always told me, don't get your money when you get your honey. Don't get your honey when you get your money. And sometimes we don't listen. Sometimes we have relationships with coworkers and stuff, and it don't ever work out. It's always a messy situation. So, definitely, and you think about it, band, we're all together an extreme amount of time, especially at HBCUs. I was looking at a schedule of this one PWI band, And they go hard for the start of school, August, and then mid-September they go to 2-a-days. They go to 2 a weeks, and then they practice for like an hour or so on Friday, but to get ready for the game or whatever. And I'm just like, man, but we spend a lot of time with each other. We get sick of each other, but we also get close with each other, knowing people's families and if they got kids. And think about it. I know when we were in school, Quan and Julian, when we got out of band practice, everything was pretty much closed in terms of food. There wasn't no late night menu. There wasn't no, none of that stuff. So we were going to somebody's house.
All we had in Norfolk was 7-Eleven and maybe a Taco Bell.
Bro, I know exactly where that 7-Eleven is in Norfolk. And if you ain't from there, you don't need to stop in there.
Yep.
I'm telling you, bro.
Right next to Capitol Cuts, baby.
I know exactly where that is, bro. And so, like, we would go to people's house. You know what I'm saying? I know as soon as I crossed out, man, we were at the Rob's house and cooking spaghetti, doing this, kicking it, whatever, And so definitely, lines can get extremely blurred. But, that's why I brought up that topic. Like, what happens? Let's just say you got a band director that's single, and somebody's graduated 5 or 7 years plus after graduation, and you run into folks. What happens, and how is that looked at in that type of situation?
It's still looked at negatively.
Yeah.
Okay, wait. So you've been a band director for 5 to 7 years, right?
You just in general. Go ahead, yeah.
In general, like this person has graduated 5-7 years post. Okay. Now it's more so whether you care about what people think versus not. But I think off top it's gonna be like y'all was doing a little something undergrad, or somebody was checking for somebody. You was just waiting for the clear. I just think that's just the innate thought process.
Now you see my hashtag. I say it's homecoming season. Have you? I'm just asking a question. Maybe this is for my portion, because I can pretty much say that I think my brothers would agree as well. Have you knew somebody when you were in school, you went to school with, and you ain't seen them in years, and then you maybe saw them at homecoming, you're like, oh, this person done grown up. This person looks a little bit different than what they looked like when they were in undergrad.
Keyword in school with. That's
right.
That's the difference. In school with. Right. Now we talking about Prof whomever or the man that used to work in the whomever office.
The cafeteria. No, I was just like that.
That's different.
Yeah, I get it. I just wanted to ask that question.
Sure.
It's
bar none. Like it's a level playing field. In school with.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you was on some type of staff, administration, if you had some type of title, if you were not enrolled in the university as a student, that's totally it changes the dynamic of it all.
Right. I think it's important to that directors, because of the position that we're in, and we know on the athletic side, that stuff has been going on for ages. And we talking about high school. You know what I'm saying? Starting there. That's been going on for ages. Coaches and inappropriate relationships and stuff. But I think it's about, again, drawing boundaries. And I say this because one of my directors, that's current director at A&T, Dr. Ruff, in his office, he has a red tape from the side of his desk all the way to the wall. And the reason being because he has very easy information, student information and other stuff on his computer. And you know how folks sometimes get nosy and stuff like that. He always has that line, you know what I'm saying? You're right, peeking over. So I have to tell some of my students that way, no, you don't look at anybody's screen, and so you have to train them. And so, yeah, and so he would do that. I remember seeing that all the time because folks would just bust up in his office and, Doc, we need to do this, Doc, we need to do that, or whatever. And he's like, hey, look, I got office hours. This is how you request an appointment with me. He wanted to have that open door policy, but sometimes it can get abused. And I'm sure all of you guys, in being in coaching positions and band director positions, you have to, sometimes I have a no-fly zone during lunch because my kids want to hang out in the band room all the time. I'm like, look, I got to eat my lunch, or I got to make some important phone calls or something. I got to have some type of break. So I think it's important to set those boundaries. You know, I think students know who to play with and who not to play with. And when it's like, I don't know, when you can see an opportunity, then sometimes folks can take advantage, you know, of those situations, especially if like you're in a position of power.
Absolutely, bro. Absolutely, man. You hit a lot of nails on the head, bro. Because I definitely know some situations where, like I said earlier, you know, I've had some young ladies who have become very attached, and I would back up, no, move, get away from me. I don't know. No. So I definitely 100% agree with you, bro. Man, definitely, man. It's great seeing you. We still got to talk.
Right, man, bro. I just been. Let me tell you how I go, man. You know how I go.
No, you're good.
It's been on a whole nother level. These kids are different now.
Everybody's
like, I know we're not even talking. I know we're not even like talking like we talking about band, but we ain't talking about band. Like
everybody's saying that. You're not the first one.
I had a student come to my office a week ago. Was like, well, you know, I think this is what we should be doing because I watch so much band content, and I just had to stop and pause, like, you know. And I don't pull like, you know, like I got my degrees up on the wall. I just put them on there. I've never put them in my office or any of that stuff. I just did that. We all know we've had band directors that have that bookshelf full of books that look like they about to fall off. I was looking at my bookshelf today. I'm like, hey, I got all these books. Like, you know, I always wonder how my band director had that. And I never pull like my accomplishments and I never put them in front of my face. But I had to tell this student, I was like, look, every band that you done seen and watched on TV, I done played against in their heyday and in their prime. You're not telling me anything that I ain't never seen before. And we were talking about stands versus field. They're like, Mr. Connor, all we doing is the field show. I said, we got a competition coming up. Ain't nobody judging us playing neck. Like, I had to go in. I was like, you know what? These students are different. I'm like, man, maybe I need to do something else.
Justin feels different. I just want to say that.
I was watching it today. I had to do like a recap of what y'all doing, and I was like, man. And I just don't come from that school of thought, and I don't want to get off topic, but so it's been a few weeks, and I'm just like, man, maybe I need to do something else. I don't know, because these students are different.
Well, man, whatever you want to do, just let me know. You know, we're gonna top it up.
Right, for sure.
But man,
I appreciate y'all.
Appreciate it, man.
I hope y'all doing well. I'm looking forward to seeing Norfolk on the 6th. I'm bringing my kids.
That's the battle, right?
In Charlotte. Charlotte. Yeah. We're bringing my kids, and so you'll see us out there, and looking forward to seeing them.
All right, brother.
So, man.
As always, it's a pleasure, man. Appreciate everything. Appreciate everything you're doing, man. Keep grinding.
No doubt. Y'all take care.
All right, bro.
I got a question.
What? What? What's up?
Are you done?
God, what I do? I was about to bring in.
I'll call your manager on you.
Anyway, ask your question.
The manager said, y'all do realize there are students in college of all ages. So I just wanted to ask, like, my perspective has been based off of the typical undergrad age versus graduating age, right? Do y'all think it's any different if said person that is in undergrad is 27, 28, 35, 42, 67, whatever? Does that still change? Or is it still because there's a power shift or a power dynamic that you would still be unwilling, not necessarily personally, but it should still be not brought to the limelight if somebody, in a higher position versus another decides to get a relationship with each other? Is it strictly off the age, or is it truly the dynamic of the relationship?
I think it. I'm one of them kind of people who was like 18 ain't that big of a difference anyway. So
then what?
You couldn't ask me that question. So
18 is not that big of a difference. Then what?
I mean, you're legal at 8. Are we talking about the university, Daddy?
Yeah.
Yeah, so if the undergrad student is 30, I don't have a problem with it. I don't see the issue.
That wasn't my
If
question.
they
Oh, I'm sorry.
30,
You
maybe I
said
missed it.
18 is not that big of a difference. I'm asking then what?
Wait, I'm answering your question first.
Okay.
So
So
you said if the undergrad kid is 30,
sure.
is that an issue?
Okay. Is it?
To me, no.
But
30.
then you said
for me, if
Oh,
there is a power dynamic, if
Okay.
that 30-year-old is marching in the band and you the band director, you wrong. If that 30-year-old is in your class and you the professor, you wrong.
okay.
Were you waiting on Quan? Because Quan is chilling.
I mean, this is not a mandatory discussion.
Oh, okay. Well, true then.
You
Don't ask the question if everybody ain't got to answer the question.
I just
I'm gonna manage on you because you cutting up. You need
braids. It's the braids. It's the braids. It's the braids.
Oh, Lord,
Boy,
here
he
we
got a
go.
good lineup. Boy, he got some new hair on his head. Now he feeling himself. You got to be stopped.
You know what?
Hey, I got one question for you, Luke. Won't
Yo.
you come and braid my hair?
All right, so we're gonna welcome in Justin to the panel. What's going on, bro? I ain't gonna let y'all keep messing with me about this daggone hair.
Oh man.
Hey,
What up?
What's going
Dr.
on, bro?
Design.
Y'all funny as hell tonight. It's an interesting conversation. Luke, I wish you'd have let me in like maybe like a good minute ago. Why he was about to say I marched in every band and I didn't sing, and that'd be the thing. That'd be my thing right there. When he was grilling that student about the student asked him one thing and he like, I didn't sing everything and I done marched in all these bands. It'd be that one moment right there where that student saying, I don't give a shit, but just take what I'm saying into consideration. That's all I wanted to add to that. Because that's how you fall behind on the times. The student might really be telling you something that's hot that make it keep the whole band interested in being here. You know what I'm saying? So that's just what I want to say to that. Back to this band stuff.
I mean, before you move to what you're saying, I think as band directors, though, we know that them kids don't really care when we talk about that stuff, but we also realize that there are things that we got to take care of too. You know, I think that there is a, and you said it before, meeting the kids, you know, where they are, but there has to be a negotiation amongst that, right? Like,
right.
If a kid comes to me and says we need to do X, Y, and Z, we need to play this in the stands, kind of going off of what Chuck was saying, his response was, I've dealt with these people. We have a performance, and they don't care about us playing in the stands. Now,
I know,
when
Luke,
we
all
get
I'm saying.
this performance, then we can look into that. You know what I'm saying? So I don't disagree with what you said, but I think that when you're dealing with kids like that and in situations like that, some of those kids' minds supersede the job that needs to get done first. Like what they want to do supersedes all of that. And I think that that's where the issue comes in at. So
I feel
but we know that them kids don't give a damn about, you know.
Yeah, I feel like I'm just saying, like, you know, I'm gonna listen right then, because like, and you never know what that kid may be talking about. We probably can incorporate that in this show. You know what I'm saying? Or something to make it more lit. But yeah, my first day for a classic. Overall overrated for sure. It was good.
Whoa.
Overrated.
Now look, I am
overrated.
Wait, mine. I did not go to prayer. I only worked there for 5 years, but you cannot say that. I just said you can't say that.
I was there. Okay, let me tell you that from the whole thing. What I didn't like the most is they gave me the experience. They said go to the high school battle band in the morning, and the winner of the high school battle bands opened up the show. Correct? All of that goes into the pageantry of the event.
Sure.
You didn't let none of the winners of the high school battle band perform at all, and you invited extra schools, and they set the whole game. Just the kids being bored. You know what I'm saying? They couldn't play or nothing. That was a big no-no for me, for kids that might want to come to these HBCUs. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, this is not it. You know what I'm saying? That one big thing. When Grambling start losing, all the fans start leaving. That's not like a classic vibe to me. I'm like, you still stay there and you talk that shit. That was the most overrated part to me. I mean, the atmosphere, it was cool. maybe because it was a blowout, it wasn't like a back and forward game that I could see it, but it was like, okay, this is what they're talking about. Okay, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Y'all showed up and y'all showed out. But yeah, that aspect, the battle. Luke, I don't agree with you a lot. I don't agree with you a lot, but I do agree on this tie situation. Now, I went to the Battle of the Bands that morning, and I heard Grambling at the Lancaster Battle of the Bands. I knew it was gonna be a good battle there because they was on 10. I'm listening like this is Grambling. I know be like boring, but they'll have like 2 or 3. But you see, when they played that King's Affirmation, they played it for the high school kids that morning. I was like, I heard Southerns, and it's different. So I'm like, I heard PB, and if PB ain't got nothing for this, it's about to be a long night for them. But I was a little surprised, you know what I'm saying? PV they had a little something, but I personally feel like Grambling got the edge a little bit, or maybe because I'm saying that we wasn't expecting Grambling to come out on some we won't beat y'all up type stuff, you know what I'm saying? Like it was like, whatever. And that ballad, that Whitney Houston, that just threw me for like everybody was like, no, that wasn't it. So that was kind of like it was a tie in a battle in a sense, but it was a great battle back and forward. It didn't have a 0 quarter, so the bands was going back and forth all night. PV sound damn good on that damn is this She Money song by Bobby Shmurda. I posted on my Instagram today. That song Living Like That. I don't know the dude who wrote it, but yeah, he in the bag. So that's that about that. About the what's I missing? Oh, the tuba battle at the end. Y'all know I like the ignorant shit. So I didn't realize Grammy too. I know all the kids there, but they just came with an extra touch. So PV, they got one tuba call where they like, hell no, that shit is fire and it's lit. You know what I'm saying? I ain't never see it get played back at somebody who played a garbage solo. And when they came in, I was like, that's pretty cool. So y'all watch my video.
Look at mine.
It fire. and they played Genesis on Grambling in that little earlier video I posted. But back to the tuba battle. So I'm not this PV. I'm like, Dr. Zachary and them, they all clean cut by the book. You know what I'm saying? But once again, we talk about the last episode, Luke, what Genesis is. Genesis is some ignorant shit, and you can't hide it. So PV2 was lined up, you know what I'm saying? And they play their solo while everybody lined up to watch out. I'm like, okay, we about to have action. Grambling lined up, they're taking too long. PV2 about to run another one, but they're like, y'all come line up. I'm like, oh man, that is amazing. Grambling came, they did thing on the field. They played like 2 of them and they were humping. So we marching out. I'm recording the video. I'm marching out. All I hear is bang, 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 bang. I'm like, I just know that ain't PV after they just got on the bus. PV then blocked up in the parking lot. I'm like, we got action. I like this thing. So look, you got a bunch of Hispanics on their tube line. They talking shit like, this is what I'm talking about. And then what made it more interesting was, I don't know, like if it was one of the assistant directors who was directing it. It's like they was letting them have fun outside in the parking lot. And then Ms. Roebuck come. This is how I know Ground enough for other stuff. Now I'm thinking she about to like literally like, calm me down. Oh, she know like, oh no, let's line this thing. Let's get it popping. I'm like, what the hell going on? So it was some all out tuba madness in the parking lot. And that would kind of like save the experience for me because it was pretty cool. Maybe I was expecting a whole bunch more. I don't know what it was, but it was a lit overall classic. And I like the rivalry between the two because Grambling really came with it. Because like y'all said, every year I watch it, PB just doing something dirty in the class. You know what I'm saying? But this year, it was a little different. So Luke, I agree. It kind of was a tie. I can't really tell who won it. Because even there, I was giving the edge to Grambling when I came back and watch my videos. I'm like, nah, PB sounds good on a couple of them hoes. So yeah.
All right. So before I say anything, you ain't got nothing for the topics today, do you?
Oh yeah, it was.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure before I went into saying that because I didn't want to get too far gone.
Well, I'm gonna say this because like when I got to, like I said, I mean I know my position in a lot of things. To your topic, I heard some stuff that happened this weekend. You know what I'm saying? When I was in Dallas, from like one school that came to Jackson and like they didn't do as good as I thought they should have done, and they like the best school in Dallas. You know what I'm saying? And then everybody was telling me one thing that happened at Jackson State. When I get to Dallas, everybody talking in Dallas. I'm like, oh, so that's what happened. So that's probably why. You know what I'm saying? Such and such like that. So that's kind of like what I was thinking about the whole time you brought the topic up, and just I hear it so much, especially in y'all area, and like y'all earlier a couple episodes, y'all used to be warning us like this is why we can't do All Star Band for reasons like this. This can't we why we can't do such and such for reasons like this. And here we go, back to fruition. You know what I'm saying? So like I'm never gonna argue the fact when the facts are right then and there, and it sucks that it had to be like I ain't gonna say for that one situation, but y'all get what I'm saying. That shit's funny. Sugar, you right. Sugar daddies ain't sugar daddies no more. Them niggas different. You know what I'm saying? Them niggas are young. You know what I'm saying? And sugar mamas, they look. Let's say it out in the open. Cougars be looking better than younger girls. And I hate to say that. I'm talking about they be by far. I know some girls y'all probably seen out, but like you're 21 and you're like you've been through life. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, it's really some of these older women. You know what I'm saying? So that's I want to chime in different parts of that, but y'all had some funny ass points. But yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna go back and then go forward. So yeah, I don't disagree with you on the synopsis of the whole battle situation. I think you were kind of looking for it to be kind of like boombox ish.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be honest with you, it's not. It's not, and I don't think it will ever be boombox ish.
It's more of a family affair. It's more like, hey cousin, like we all,
the whole night, yeah. I mean, the rivalry between PV and Grambling, not so much, but the atmosphere itself, because you're also surrounded by the state fair, and the state fair itself is a family affair. You know what I'm saying?
I stayed the extra day and went the next day. Man, look, I ain't
You
no
ate-
problem like that. Oh
you
yeah, I
ate
had
all
one.
that food, didn't you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I stayed the extra day. I canceled the flight and everything. I'm here. Yeah.
But no, I don't disagree with you on that front. I mean, there's definitely that rivalry there between Grambling and PV, and you know, I was blessed to be there to experience it for the 5 years that I was there, because I had never went to a Cotton Bowl before then, ever. So being there and being in that experience and that atmosphere, for me, it was super dope. But yeah, I don't disagree. I still feel personally, for me, being there is different listening to both bands than it is listening on the recording. But I guess even from me listening on the recording, I guess we both came up with the same result, which was
it's kind of a tie.
it was a tie. As far as what you were saying about the topic and today, yeah, and honestly, I didn't even know that had happened. All I know is I kept seeing them and not seeing him. And I was like, really, what's going on? So, that's news to me. I didn't know. But what I will say is, not specifically talking about him, but being a director, being in this space for, the years that I have, it's not, unfortunately, and I'll say unfortunately, because it's very true. Unfortunately, it's not uncommon. There are people that I've known and know personally, that have been in and out of those situations. And I think that it's something that we do need to have conversations about. And I thought, having this, speaking with Quan first, and then just kind of going back and doing my own research and looking into things and going up and listening to the Good Up podcast, it really shed a light on the fact that we do need to have these conversations, right? We can't just always talk about the band and whether who sounds good and all that. We got to talk about the stuff that we try to sweep under the rug too, and we got to put that stuff in the forefront. So yeah,
even more detailed topics. Like I don't gonna lie, you know what I'm saying? Being in this game, I see a lot, and everything comes to my social media. So like even stuff like like why one school could highlight the flags and give them a feature, but this school can't. You know what I'm saying? Or why certain girls can make the team and certain girls can't. You know what I'm saying? They got some stuff that's coming down the pipeline with like a couple of these shows coming out, and it's about to get really crazy. You know what I'm saying? So like, there's a whole bunch in the whole scene that you could talk about. But overall, I mean, I feel you. Great topic. One thing I did want to point out too, the support that the parents gave these schools at that battle at that Lancaster battle of the bands. I went to. It was crazy. I said, yeah. So band ain't dead in battles at all. You know what I'm saying? I guess it's just a matter of the style or just certain schools. Because what school this is? They won. They Cedar Hill. The people have an army behind them. I was like,
that's the thing, right? Like, and Quan, were you about to say something?
Yeah, I'm about to say, but people don't know. People don't know that Cedar Hill was the #1 band of USA bands in the South.
Right.
So it's like that's what. So all the things that we promote, like on this show, is like when I saw them, I was like, bro, that's one of the best bands in the country, show style. Period. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like that's what. Those are the type of things that honestly that this show we've been doing. We've been pushing and promoting them for years, bro. Outstanding staff, outstanding, students, and bro, they cold. Like real talk, that's a cold band for real.
But see, and the thing too, and just kind of go back on what you said, like band is not specifically dead in the state of Texas. It's just not thriving as much as it used to. And I bring this up a lot too. Our people, the chocolate folk, ain't the ones who are the masses in this art form in the state of Texas as it used to be. Sorry, that was my Google. I don't know if you heard that, but yeah, it's just that's what it is. So you look at Cedar Hill, and yeah, Cedar Hill is a darn good program by far, but there for the one Cedar Hill, there's like 5 or 6 or 7 other ones that ain't Cedar Hill, right? And then you will get a Skyline, and then they're 5 or 6 or 7 before you get to something. You know what I'm saying? So whereas I know coming up, especially, and I can only speak for Houston and a little bit of Dallas because I knew Townview by the time I was graduating. I knew of Townview. I knew of Ozan, and I knew of Central High School in Beaumont. But when I was in Houston, Willow Ridge was obviously, we were the top dogs, but you still had groups like Worthing who were still doing great things. You still had groups like Madison at the time who were still doing great things. The Yates was still holding on. Booker T was still holding on.
Smiley,
Jones, Smiley. Like you could go through all of these lists of programs that were still doing great things and still doing good things. Whereas now in the state of Texas, you may get 1 or 2 per city. And then when you're looking at HISD, I don't know, so yeah, I don't think it's dead, because yes, you'll get that support in the state of Texas, obviously, absolutely. It's just not as strong as what it used to be. I look at Willard and I love my alma mater. I'm gonna love and support my alma mater till they bury me. But at the same time, the numbers at my alma mater are nowhere near what they used to be when I was in school, and it ain't even as many chocolate folk in there no more. Most of them are Hispanic.
Dang, I didn't think about it like that because I know every time I think of Texas, I think about the big schools like Skyline. I'm just realizing seeing Cedar Hill in person because Townview was good as hell a couple years ago. You know what I'm saying? So like, yeah, but the support there, just getting my first experience of the whole weekend, it was real good. And maybe like it's always good to see something for yourself. You know what I'm saying? Versus when people be telling you, but like with that incident, I was like, damn, they said that. Like, but good overall classic. Will I go back again? Yeah, maybe. Depends. I do think they need a battle of bands between the two though. Like the night before, that'll be fine. Like because they didn't have a 0 quarter because they had so many projected opening performances. So like, get them a battle of bands the night before. That thing will be fine.
You touching Maya right now in a not so good place.
No, I don't want to say. I'm just so you wouldn't know, right? So things have changed. There was at one point, I wouldn't say where there was a full ballot of bands, but there was one time where at the high school ballot of bands, right, both bands would end up being there, and it would be some like a impromptu like prequel to the game, right? So in terms of the dynamic or what's happened and changed in Dallas, I'm not exactly sure. And just like you mentioned, with the high school students kind of growing up, being in Dallas, you kind of know it used to be part of winning the Battle of the Bands that morning was that you're able to perform the pregame at the actual game. That was
That's what
part
they said this year. So that's why I was wondering why they didn't let the kids do it. Who won?
So that's what I'm saying. I don't know what's changed, but just so you know, just for context, that has been a thing, right? And so also just kind of growing up, you kind of knew like the excitement of being in the band is being able to have a front row seat as a band to the game itself. So just so you know, like it's not anything that has not been thought of. It's just things I guess that have changed over time. I haven't gone to the game in a couple of years, so I'm not really well versed on how things are now. But just to give you a little bit of background, like those things have been done, and that was part of the culture of the game. It's a citywide type of thing. Everybody is involved, and everybody aspires to have some type of inkling or hand in it, or exposure to it rather. And then when you say like people leaving, it's customary for the majority of people to leave after halftime because truly, like the halftime, when we say halftime is game time, that's really what you come for. And then after that, it's time to hit the fair. It's time to get drunk. It's time to get your corner dog. It's time to go to the car show. It's time to party. Like you just stay until the halftime show and then you dip.
I feel you.
Unless you're a true band head.
And if I'm not mistaken, because I know that when I got to PV and we started doing it, there were 2 battles. And then I think they switched it down to like 1 now.
Because there used to be a floor show, it used to be a field show type battle. There's been a lot of different ways that it's been done over the years, but that whole like battle thing between PV and Grambling has been a thing in the past.
And they should bring it back.
Well, I will tell you, they will probably, unless something changes, they'll probably never do a battle the night before. Because traditionally Prairie View does the performance at Townview. So
right.
And unless there's a one heck of a reason why, I don't ever think that tradition will ever change.
Yeah, like that's
bring that whole to Townview. Get them kids that experience. Shit.
I mean, I feel you. I think that it would be truly, really, really cool if both schools could end up going, because now Lancaster as well as Townview are like the prominent places to go for that particular event or that performance rather. So if PV and Grambling would show up at Townview, that'd be a good damn time. And then it'd be like a little battle situation in the parking lot. I feel you. But of course, there's so many things that go into that. But no, like PV will for definitely always go to Townview on Friday night. It's called the Fall Fling. So it's been a thing, has been a thing, and hopefully will continue to be a thing.
Yeah, it's fine. I like the whole recruitment aspect of that thing that's going on. Portia, homecoming next week, right?
Is you still coming or no?
I booked already. Yeah, I touched down Thursday. So what's going on, Luke? You in that thing?
All right, man. I appreciate you for coming in, Justin.
You phony.
Y'all not coming.
Long story.
What the hell going on?
He didn't even have the decency to tell you offline. You have to find out.
I'll tell you about it later.
I tell you later.
Hey, Luke, make a sound bite from Florida Evans talking about damn.
I'll tell you. Well, look, it's not 100%. We went from 100% going to now it's like in the 50-50 range. So there's still a 50-50 chance. But it's a long story. That's why. That's the only reason why. It's the only reason why. It has nothing to do with us. I'll say that. It's something else.
Okay.
I'll tell you later, Portia.
Justin, I'll be here.
It's okay, Portia. I understand. Rick gonna be there?
Rick gonna be there because this is. But see, that's why I gotta be there. It's Rick's 20th year
in Omega.
Yeah. And it's my 20th year since being in the Legion. Like it's been 20 years since I stepped.
Sound like you were nigging.
I'm not. Like I said, why you be quiet? You ain't going anyway.
Yeah.
You weren't going no way. But no, there's a reason why. So, but it has nothing to do with me specifically. I'll leave it at that. I'll tell you later.
Okay.
Well, y'all, it's okay. All right, man. I see y'all.
See, Justin, you made me at you. Now you brought it out. Now, portion.
Oh, y'all been talking about homecoming. We come and see homecoming. What the drink you was talking about? Portia, y'all make it a week in advance. I'm excited. What you talking about? Let me see. See, look, yeah, I remember all the you talking about the dancers who ain't dancers. Oh yeah, y'all had it hyped up. Yeah. Well, I'm spilling the beans.
But they're not there. We're not there no more, so it don't even matter. You ain't gonna see them. I mean, they may come back as alumni, but I don't even think that they acknowledge the fact that they
do let them do alumni band.
They do. Wow.
Okay.
New to me. What Justin? What day you getting there?
Thursday.
See, that's the day to get there. Because they let you in on MD Thursday now. You can get there.
Yeah, that's the only time you would get in that band room.
Right.
Yeah, you need to take advantage of it.
Hey,
yeah, man. I had to change. Huh?
Don't worry about it. Go ahead.
Oh no, I had to change some stuff around. I just got invited to Disney World this weekend. They had this huge HBCU weekend. It started last year. They have a battle of the bands, a parade through the park. So yeah, that's pretty dope. I'm excited about that. So I might just Norfolk next Island Thursday. So yeah.
All right, Justin. Thank you for getting me in trouble.
I can't wait. I'm so excited. I'm a little less excited now, but
no.
See, man.
My bad, dog. I just ain't with you coming. That's not my fault.
We were supposed to be talking about the class and the topic. Yeah, he just mad. All right, man. Golly, man. Jesus. See? Now he tip now. I'll tell you later, Portia.
Okay.
Matter of fact, because I'm going to sleep after this, but I'll send you a message tomorrow.
Okay.
All right. Well, this is not the best way to end this.
Damn.
All right. Yep. All right, Quan. Any final thoughts? Anything you got for the culture, brother?
I do want to say, I know she won't see this, but I'm gonna still give her a shout out. Happy birthday to my mama.
Mama, yeah! Woo! Happy birthday! My bad. Sorry.
Yeah, it was our birthday today.
That was your birthday.
Shout out to Queen Mother on her day today. Shout out to all the bands as we progress towards the latter half of the season. Great protection over the kids, and I'm excited. Worthing's homecoming is this Friday, so we're gearing up. Our first real drill and show gonna be on the field this Friday, so you will see videos from.
All right, that's dope, and congratulations, man, on first field show and getting your feet wet in that. I can't wait to see it, brother.
Most definitely.
I'm even afraid to ask right now, Portia. Any final thoughts? Anything you got for the culture? Just
I do.
Go ahead.
Get your people away from your job. Whatever you looking for, find it away from your job. That's all I'm gonna say. Those two should not mix or mingle. Better safe than sorry. It's always about the bag, okay? Bills need bag. And I don't know that I'll be on here next week. It's gonna be a bit of a week for me next week. Homecoming week is always crazy, so I don't know if I'll be here, but
I would expect that.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll see you all in 2 weeks. No, to my knowledge, we're not going to South Carolina State, but who knows? Things change. Somebody asked that in the comments.
Man, see, Justin, you didn't look at Portia's move. It is so different now. Oh my gosh. Justin. Oh.
But don't y'all have a battle of the band coming up with Norfolk on I think it's the 5th of November?
Who having a battle of the bands? We going to an event in Charlotte. We play A&T that Saturday, and so we're gonna keep going. It's a HBCU something Battle of the Bands in Charlotte. It's gonna be us, A&T, Alabama State, Kentucky State. It's some more bands, but I can't remember.
Right, but that's in November, right?
Yeah, the first weekend in November. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Justin killed the mood. Maya, any final thoughts? Anything you got for the culture?
No, nothing that's gonna beat you reneging. No, I'm just kidding.
It's the braids, man. It's the braids.
Oh, that boy done logged that and everything.
Dudes with braids renege.
Oh no. Got him feeling like a brand new person.
Oh my gosh.
We know. We just playing with you.
You don't know. You don't know. You don't know.
No, but what I do know is that if you could, you would, and if you can, you will.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
And if it's laid, it's braided. So hey, so there we go.
And if it's up, then it's stuck. All the things like
you feel me?
I did tell Bethea that you
I'm upset.
was trying to get in contact with him when I saw him today.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Anyway, mine.
But just let Dr. Bethea know he.
Yeah, see, that's why you got cut out. Maya, any final thoughts? Anything you got for the culture?
No, I'm just happy to be back and whatnot.
Okay. Well, I know you was out there on that beach with the toes up, so
yep.
Congratulations.
Trying to go back.
I do not blame you. All right. Well, before we get out of here, thank you, Justin, for killing the mood. I appreciate you. Today has been a great episode, super great episode. Definitely a conversation that was needed, man. So I appreciate everybody who actually participated in the conversation, everybody who was getting down in the comments, and also the people who came in and checked in with us. Man, Brother Moore is in here. I gotta always shout him out when he comes in because he keeps them comments rolling during the week, man. So I definitely appreciate it, man. Also, please make sure y'all go to the store, check it out, check out the merchandise. I know we got a lot of sayings that I'd say that I need one of y'all to take charge and just write these things down when we say put it on the shirt and just send it to me so I can make sure I put the stuff on the shirt. Cause I'll be forgetting by the time the show is over. And I know I go back and watch and cut these videos, but I don't be thinking about it like during that time. Somebody write this stuff down. All right. Anyway, man, but y'all can go to the store and get 30% off your purchase. Just type in HBCU band. That's www.realtalkthattalk.com. Also, please make sure you check out the Patreon. And also make sure that you hit the like button on the way out. And if you're watching this and it ain't on a Wednesday, it's like a Thursday or a Friday or Saturday or something, you can comment. Ain't nobody gonna respond, but you can comment. All right. Brother Moore be commenting all the time, but you can also click that like button while you're watching it on the run back. All right. I ain't got nothing else for you, man. This has been a great episode, man. I will see you guys later. You all have a great rest of the week. Deuces.